What's going on? I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
And I am Diggins.
Okay, this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah!
This week, the winner of the poll is revealed, even though some of you think you know, but some of you are wrong. But I feel like most of you by now on Twitter have figured it out, or you've read the title of this episode. But still, we're gonna show you what episode we're gonna do today, and that's gonna be real fun. So, yeah, how are you guys doing tonight, fellas?
Not too bad. Doing doing the thing. Just watching movies.
I want to tell a brief story.
Please.
I'd love to hear it. I mean, I want an anecdote specifically, not a story, an anecdote.
Yeah.
You have an anecdote?
Yeah, you can call this an anecdote.
I love it. Let's go.
So I was watching a movie yesterday.
Ooh.
It was an older movie. It's called Swing Time. It's an old Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers musical, which I've never watched any of those before. And I was like, you know what? Let's see what all the fuss is about. This is supposed to be one of the movies with the most technically accomplished dancing of theirs. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
I watch it. I'm having a pretty good time. It's nothing incredible. But
I saw your tweet. I know where this is going.
I did not, so I have no idea where it's going.
It's humming along. It's pretty light, pretty insubstantial, but it's fun. They are extremely good dancers. The musical scenes are very impressive. I'm having a good time. I get to about 2/3 of the way through the movie, where we're building up to a big climactic scene. But before we get there, in the universe of the movie, the characters are dancers. So Fred Astaire is about to put on a big performance for this nightclub, right?
Damn right.
So he talks to Ginger Rogers backstage beforehand. They kiss, whatever. He goes to sit at his desk, at his desk to get ready for his performance right before the scene cuts. And in that couple of seconds before the scene cuts, he takes out this little tub of makeup, really digs his hands in there and then starts smearing his face. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, no.
And who to our wandering eyes should appear?
For the next 8 minutes of this movie, we are treated to a huge, high production, expensive dance number, extremely elaborate with dancing shadows and big full stage props and everything. Fred Astaire doing a number entirely in blackface.
Amazing. Just amazing.
No,
We're there.
And
Uh-huh.
the most dramatic scene in the movie comes after this, where he gets found out about his fiance and the gangster he tricked into with a phony bet earlier learns and threatens him and takes all his money back, and Ginger Rogers thinks that he's cheating on her and she gets really upset. It's this whole big dramatic scene. And the whole time he's still in blackface.
Damn.
Here's my
doesn't
question.
take it off.
Here's a question.
After this.
When
Yeah.
the blackface, like you said, it doesn't show up throughout the movie and until this point. Before that, if you knew that blackface was coming, would there be clues? Would it seem obvious based off, I don't know, drawings of costumes in the background for dancing bits? Or was it almost like he was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do some blackface. And then he just put it on out of nowhere. Do you think all the other characters in the movie were like, uh-oh? Or were they like, there we go. That's what I came to see.
Well, no. It has nothing to do with anything that came before it. It's entirely just, they're doing a show tonight. It's not even a particularly important show. It's just, what's happening at that particular point in time. And they don't talk about the number they're doing. There's no specific thing they have to do for the purposes of the plot. The dance number could have been anything, and yet it is the big blackface number. That's what they decided they needed.
Incredible. I mean, I feel like it's been a while since I saw a movie with blackface. Although I did watch Lindsay Ellis put out a new video on Nebula today, actually, about Tropic Thunder. It's probably the last time I've ever seen it. Yeah, it's weird as hell. I mean, it's good in that movie, but it's weird in general. It's really weird. What do you think? Do you think we have something right now that will be looked upon, that we treat as normal, that will be looked back on, and we're like, wow, that's almost as bad as like that, you know?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be. Kind of.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm really at a loss.
If I had to take a guess, I would say maybe our habit of anyone from anywhere in East Asia can play anyone from anywhere else in East Asia right now, and that's later on we might be like, that's weird that we did that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That is pretty wild. In case you guys are hearing weird noise, it's because Mortimer is nuzzling the microphone.
Oh, what a cutie!
I know, he wants attention. He's been a real brat today, but he's so good.
What?
Yeah, he's a good boy. Speaking of good things, you guys, the poll, good and bad for some.
The poll.
So this week we didn't have anything to do. Next week is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or whatever it's called. And is it Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or just Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings?
I think it's Shang-Chi, the Legend of the and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
That'd be funny if it was like Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and then it was like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, just 10 little rings that just roll behind him, and sing along. But so we got Shang-Chi next week, so we were kind of like, well, I mean, we could do something to lead up to that. We could do, something that we kind of haven't covered in a while. We could do something that we've been saying we're going to do for a while. And we decided to leave it up to you, the fine listener, by creating a poll on Twitter.com.
We love polls
and
Twitter.com.
It's democracy, it's a great way to do it. But you guys, we did a classic poll like we did, and we talked about before, but never actually put in motion, where it was an anti-poll, and the loser of the poll was actually the winner the whole time.
What?
Incredible.
What? No, what? Get out of here. Are you serious right now?
The beach makes you old, and the poll was the whole time. The two twists of 2021 that you could never get over. It's funny because, like I said, this wasn't something we just completely sprung on you guys, because this is something we've mentioned before but forgot to do, I think is how that happened.
Something like that.
Yeah, so immediately there were some people in the comments after we made the poll, before anyone could have listened to last week's episode, that were like, guys, it's a trap. Don't vote for the thing.
Fucking liars.
Yep. And we have results for the poll.
You got us.
Now, what were the options in the poll? We had obviously. You have it?
I'm going off the top of my head. I can pull it up, but it was Spy Kids 3D, The White Lotus, Man with the Iron Fists, and
Remembrance or whatever that movie is, right?
Yes,
Hugh Jackman.
And I believe
whatever.
Yeah.
No one will ever know for sure.
It matters so little. And I believe that Spy Kids got over 60%. So this wasn't like last time it was like, Spy Kids got 30. Classic California plurality rules. This was like Spy Kids got the clear majority at 60%. And then it was like 17, 11, 10. Something like that. So, this was clear and obvious.
Yep. And, it turned out, and we picked Man with the Iron Fist just because it's a, martial arts movie. That's really it.
We basically, at the end of last podcast, were like, what's another martial arts movie we could do in the lead up to Shang-Chi? And then it was noted that Nando is a notable Man with the Iron Fist stan. Absolutely.
And DJ as well, I believe. I almost think, I think DJ might have gotten me into it.
Yes.
I am pretty vocal supporter of it, though, because it rules, and we'll talk about why. But yeah,
we will.
I've always been ready to go to bat for this movie, and it's got the same nonsense. It's got the same not nonsense, but it's kind of the same kind of thing. There's some martial arts stuff, and there's some chi here, although I don't know really what we're supposed to read from that. There's good guys and bad guys, and it's great. So it's not that unlike Shang-Chi. I don't know if any Wu-Tang Clan is in Shang-Chi. Any members?
I I doubt it.
Yeah.
Considering the RZA is like the only one who acts.
Well, Ghostface Killer was in the first Iron Man movie, but they cut his scene because they're cowards.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's a big Iron Man fan. Because we're all nerds, I guess. So he he used to rap as like, he has a song I think called Tony Stark or something like that, like back pre 2008. So yeah, he's been a big fan of that, obviously. Who was in Luke Cage? Is that Method Man?
I legit do not know.
I think so.
I can't remember, but it must be because it wasn't RZA, it wasn't Ghostface. But anyway, yeah, there's some ties to things. Like they have fun, they have fun interests that they dabble in, and obviously we kind of mentioned it. The RZA was in G.I. Joe, the second one, where he played the blind master because he loves this so much, and he was terrific in that too. So you guys chose by accident this one.
But now you should know. There's like a thing you should know now, right?
I think if anything you should know, don't vote until you listen to the podcast before when we tell you what the voting deal is. Because who knows, maybe we'll change our mind next time.
Yeah, even then, like, there's no guarantee that we'll actually do whatever we said we would do because we're notoriously mercurial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be our new nickname or new show.
Mostly mercurial?
Notoriously mercurial, yeah. The M and the N switch,
Hey.
So M-N, yeah.
I like that.
I like it a lot. That will be, I guess in that show it would be the same as our mostly nitpicking, but we'd all switch opinions. So we'd start, like attacking the thing we defended last week. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be a fun format for a podcast where it's like the first half we all have some opinions and the second half we all have to suddenly start arguing with the opposite opinions.
Yeah. I think, I don't know where, I don't know where Diggins is going to fall on this one. I'm kind of interested, but this one, I'd say most people probably haven't seen this movie, especially compared to like whatever we did last week, like our usual movies. I guess that's not true. It's like we did Snake Eyes a couple weeks ago. Nobody saw that,
yeah,
but
it's like the blockbusters are predictable, and then the other things are kind of like wild cards at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, and that's great. Like, I like that we switch it up every so often. I'm hoping that our audience is like, oh, I'll check out Man with the Iron Fist now, because their opinions are also amazing, Maybe.
Our opinions are incredible.
Yeah.
Just
Mine
the
are
best
trash.
fucking opinions.
That's fair.
The worst opinions on Earth.
And that's Dickens' way of being wrong here, but right and mostly mercurial. Or what was it called?
Notoriously mercurial.
Notoriously mercurial. Jesus, I already forgot where he has good opinions. But guys, we got to talk about The Man with the Iron Fists.
Yes. It's a movie.
2012's that movie. Yeah. It's a movie that was in theaters. Didn't really hit, even though it has some stars.
It does have some stars.
In fact, it's packed with stars. It's got a very impressive cast of characters and actors, and it
one of those.
whoa. And we got a lot to cover because there's a lot going on in this movie. Shocking amount.
There's a lot going on in this movie.
Let's do the IMDb B spelled like spelling bee. And here's what we're
name.
here's what we're gonna do. It's a great name. Here's what we're gonna do. I got the thing here, the description. I'm gonna read it real quick.
Okay. While you read that, so Diggins, you get to decide whether to go first or second. Do you have kind of a feel for where you want to go with this?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay. I have read it, and I can't say too much about it. It's not, I don't know. Play casual kind of. This isn't reinventing the wheel. But I think there are some things, especially words, that you can get right, and that'll help a lot. A lot of specific words here.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, Diggins.
In the remote jungle village, a humble blacksmith teams up with a British mercenary and the son of a murdered warlord to recover a stolen shipment of gold.
Okay. DJ?
A blacksmith must team up with a Englishman, Jackknife, and the martial artist X-Blade to stop the evil Silver Lion from stealing the Emperor's gold.
Diggins wins.
Mother!
Couple of reasons why. Number one, and this one's kind of, this one might as well have just been a coin flip. He's described as British, not English.
Jesus.
So you got that. Diggins mentioned the village important. You both got gold. You both got blacksmith. Although, Diggins, do you remember what you said about him?
He was a humble blacksmith.
He is a humble blacksmith.
Are
That's
you
right.
serious?
So
There's nothing humble about him. Get out of here.
Here's the description. On the hunt for a fabled treasure of gold, a band of warriors, assassins, and a rogue British soldier descend upon a village in feudal China where a humble blacksmith looks to defend himself and his fellow villagers.
Well, that's
so
not accurate.
That's
I don't think it's a
incorrect.
great description. Yeah, but it's, you still, as far as the parts that were important, I would say Diggins managed to get a couple of them more on the nose, so he gets the win here. Easy call. Easy call. And also, DJ went for naming all the characters, which was not important.
It was going to go one of two ways. So because Diggins didn't, I felt like I had to. Because if it was in there, then I'd be covered there.
Yeah.
It's
a
fair.
reasonable strategy.
Yeah, I think the one thing I was looking for would have been, I guess, the way that I do like the way that the description's warriors, assassins, everybody shows up to the village.
Sure.
If there was kind of that, this guy, and this guy all come together to do a bunch of fights and stuff.
Yeah, it's fair.
But yeah, Diggins, you have won, so you get to talk about the movie first. I usually say this, but I didn't. This movie is directed by and written by RZA, and it is also Eli Roth has a screenplay credit. It stars, among others, RZA again as the humble blacksmith.
Please, Nando, he's the RZA.
Yeah, the RZA. Well, it's weird because it just says RZA, and I'm like, does he definitely is the RZA to me, but also maybe he's like, please excuse me, Nando, RZA with friends, the RZA with people that I don't know. But we got
my father is the RZA.
Yeah. Maybe his mom calls him the RZA when he doesn't clean his room.
Yeah. The RZA. You didn't clear out the dishwasher again.
And he's
Sorry, Ma.
Sorry, Mom. I was busy making an amazing movie in 2012. I've been busy ever since. So we got Russell Crowe as Jackknife. I'm not even going to go over some of the names because the names are fun and we'll find them out later. But we got Russell Crowe, Chung Lee, Kung Lee. I wanted to do Chung Lee, but
Sung.
Is it Sung? Okay, that makes more sense. Lucy Liu.
I think I could be wrong.
It's probably it. He's not that important, actually. I don't know why I read him. Lucy Liu, RZA, Dave Batista, Rick Yoon, Jamie Chung, Byron Mann, Daniel Wu, and that's most of them. Some others, but I would say those are our main characters. And this is just the RZA's strange little passion project. I don't completely understand how this works, how it came to be, but it certainly
who paid
did.
For it? Universal paid for it, but
did he go to the people?
They didn't give it very much money.
I'm wondering about that too, because it didn't. I remember it not getting a ton of advertising, but I remember seeing the trailer or something, being like, "That looks amazing. This is a terrific movie." But I'm wondering, the budget was apparently $15 million, and the worldwide gross was 20, so not ideal.
Net positive though.
Yeah. And
not if you include marketing.
That's true.
What marketing exactly, Nando? Oh my God! Speaking of Lion with the Iron Fist, did you guys know there's a second one of these?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's direct to DVD.
Oh, I guess I know what we're doing after Shang-Chi.
Oh no, this one does not. It's not directed by RZA, although he is in it. Not too many of the no one really returns. It seems.
Except
Maybe
the RZA.
a couple of characters, but yeah, except for the RZA. That's a shame.
Is it?
Kind of. I like the character. I think that's one of the things I really liked about this movie. We had some actors that are all pretty good, giving it 110%. I don't want to, steal Diggins' thunder, though. Diggins, let's talk about the man with the iron fist. What'd you think?
Sure. I'm going to express an opinion that Nando has expressed on a few different occasions, which is that The Man with the Iron Fists is a project that would have been helped tremendously by its creator not deciding to put himself in it.
What? Excuse you, the RZA is the heart and soul of this movie. It's fantastic.
RZA is easily the most boring and just worst part of this movie.
Oh my God.
The blacksmith character is like very ancillary to everything that's happening. We grind the movie to a halt for like 15 full minutes to describe his backstory.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
His backstory, which is like noticeably less goofy and fun than the rest of the movie. Not that it's like serious, but it's not as wild.
Yeah.
And the RZA is just like, I'm not going to say the RZA's a bad actor, but he's not bringing the kind of heat that everyone else is, like really playing everything up. He's kind of very serious about it, and it doesn't really work. That being said, the non-RZA parts of this movie, I haven't seen the second one, I did more or less enjoy. I had some reservations at some points, but everyone's going all in on it. Russell Crowe, especially, is just like devouring the scenery in every scene.
Among other things.
Hey.
Hey. The action is generally pretty good when it doesn't involve the RZA. Like, they got actual, martial artists and like people who can do stunts to do some genuine, like, old school martial arts action, and it's pretty good. So overall, I did have fun with this movie. I love the villains and their glam rock wigs.
Oh my God, so good.
I like Lucy Liu's action scene a lot. She was really good. There's a lot of style in it. There's a lot of things to like about it. If only the RZA wasn't in it, I would give an unqualified recommendation.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think there is a version of this movie that the RZA is not in. Like, I feel like the RZA first thing was like, I want to be the star of a martial arts movie. And then if you guys agree to that, then we can talk about what it actually is. Which is a shame. It would be interesting if this was like starring someone, anyone else. And then it like became a big hit and everybody was like, whoa, the RZA, a talented director. Like, what an interesting world we could live in.
If only the cards of fate had been dealt differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his direction is like competent, but nothing special. But
I concur.
Well, what do you think, TJ?
Thanks.
What do you think of the movie?
Okay, so I know that Nando had mentioned at the top, which is accurate, that I was pretty high on this movie when it first came out in like the ye old days of whatever the hell it was, like 2012. So let me say this: in general, I do like this movie. I would like to couch it by saying I hadn't seen like a ton of like kung fu movies up to that point. I feel like I've like built out my repertoire a bit better since then, and that's just to say that like I just think that like some parts of this movie are like really overly campy and could like probably do without. So like it's good. The RZA's bad. Russell Crowe's great. A lot of the action scenes are good. I just think that it's weird. For me personally, this movie hasn't aged super well. And I actually found like the Kurt Russell brothel scenes to be like, I don't know, just like annoying for the most part.
Sorry, the what scenes? The what scenes?
The Kurt Russell brothel scenes.
Yeah?
Yeah? What?
Are you doing a bit?
No. Why would that be a bit? I don't. I'm like totally lost.
I don't buy it.
What?
I don't. Just humble listener. It's up to you. You guys can decide what world we're living in. The world where DJ is doing this as a bit, or he legitimately doesn't know.
Oh, fuck. Did I say Kurt Russell again?
Maybe.
Oh, God damn it. That wasn't a bit. It was definitely a Freudian slip, if that is what I said. Are those the words? Oh, my God.
That are indeed the words. I mean, we literally recorded them. You can go back and check.
Okay, cool. While we're here, I think Kurt Russell would have been a good jackknife. I'll say it.
I mean, yeah, he would have been good.
Yeah. Also, DJ, I agree with you. The brothel scenes I found kind of like when Russell Crowe first showed up. I was like, I don't know about this character, but when he did scenes that weren't the brothel, I got more into him.
Yeah, no, I thought those were like the weakest parts of like his character. I'm like, why does this have to be part of him? He's cool in all the other aspects. Also, there's no payoff when he goes into the inn where the Gemini twins die, and he's like, I'll have the duck. And I thought that was like code. It doesn't go anywhere. And it still bothers me. Anyway. Yeah, overall, like, I liked it. I definitely have lessened it on it over time. Sorry, Nando. And, yeah, I just, it's kind of where I landed with it.
Incredible. Just incredible. Because this movie is perfect. It's just as good as movies have ever been. It was rad. It just, start to finish, amazing. I've seen plenty of movies that, I wouldn't say they fall within this genre. Because I do think this is in a genre all by itself. But, I've seen enough martial arts movies. I think the thing about this movie that makes it so great is, A, it was written by the RZA. And I feel like you could tell. And besides all the parts with him in it and about how his character is like the most noble, humble man that ever lived and he does incredible punches. Besides that, just the way that I love the, I don't even want to call it like Power Rangeriness of it, but I love how everybody has like a color and a theme and an animal mascot, and it's all so well defined and memorable that you're able to throw in like 40 characters, and it's just like, what's this one? He's a wolfman or whatever. You're like, all right, cool. What's this guy? He's hippo. All right, I think I get it. And then, yeah, I think the fight scenes are all great, and I think all the characters are great. I don't mind the brothel stuff. I don't know. We're 2020 and still or 2021, I guess, and there's still brothels and everything. Like, it's just how like Warriors has brothels too, and it's the same shit where like it's weird. Which is another show that I love, but it just seems like something that,
I'm not trying to like clutch my pearls and be like such a prude about it. Like, that was always like the thing with like Game of Thrones. It's like, why are all these exposition scenes in brothels, right? And it's like, oh, it's just because fucking that's how we're gonna do this. But I guess here, like, it felt so tacked on, and the way they did it was like really weird. It's not the idea of it where I'm like, you could never have this. But here it's like I don't know if it is because it's Russell Crowe, and I don't know, I don't buy it. It's just like weird. It's like weird. Like the first scene was cool. The scene with him and
I'm sorry.
No,
I just want to say, you don't believe Kurt Russell will go to a brothel? You're out of your mind. He's not above brothels.
Are you doing it now?
Yeah, I am. Russell Crowe. You don't think Russell Crowe is above brothels? I think Kurt Russell might be above brothels. Has he ever been in a brothel in a movie?
Oh, man. Can you imagine nobody just being in a brothel?
I'm trying to think. It's like Escape from New York, maybe, but none are coming. I don't think.
Guys, you're forgetting that scene in Christmas Chronicles.
I was going to say, Christmas Chronicles is definitely... Yeah, I feel like
he meets Belschnickel there.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely brothels in Kurt Russell movies for sure. I mean, Sky High, we watched that like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
there's that
brothels
brothel
everywhere in that one.
Yeah,
but Russell Crowe, he is not above a brothel. I'm just gonna take a wild guess there.
Yeah, like the crazy hippo scene was cool, but past that, it's like, oh, we're gonna use like a butt plug, and like, I want to see how that goes. And it's like, I don't need this.
Is that what that was? I couldn't quite figure out I couldn't figure out what he was saying in that scene.
Isn't the thing he's like, we're gonna play who's Catholic and see which one of you is a heretic?
Yeah, I was like, what does that mean? What are you going to do?
Yeah,
that's the part that I think I liked all the brothel nonsense with Kurt Russell because he was just wild in it, but also. I don't know, it ranks so funny as just like this almost like parody of a brothel scene where, like, nothing he's doing makes any sense. He's not having sex with all the women or whatever. He's just, some of them are just doing their own thing in the corner. Like, and he's just this bizarre, I don't even know, like, insatiable, but also just loving guy who just can't stop doing lots of sex. It's bizarre.
Loves his opium.
Yeah, well, it almost feels like they had a scene where they were like, he's going to be in a brothel, right? And these are the lines. Just pick up whatever's near you, and then you could say them. And, like, that'll be what your guy's going to do with it next. But, like, it's not only is it not coordinated, it's so over the top that I found that part pretty awesome. And everything, I think Russell Crowe is my favorite part of this movie, although I can't, everything about it I like at least half of. Like, every fight scene, there's, like, at least one guy in it that I'm enjoying watching. So, he might be the character that's, like, the silliest as a, person who knows what Russell Crowe usually does. But, sure. I wouldn't say, I don't know. There was a lot, there's a lot to like about this movie. The RZA, I think it's fun to watch him do this because it's funny because we know he's not an actor, so it's like kind of, I don't know, it's almost like cute. It's like watching a school play where you're like, oh, it's George Washington, yeah, and like, it's like, it's cute watching the kids dance and you're like waving at him with your camcorder and you're like, yeah, he's doing it.
But there's like actual actors in this movie, which I think is the problem. Well, it's not like they got the whole Wu-Tang Clan to do it. It's like, oh, the Wu-Tang Clan, how cute. But it's like, it would be like if you had, he's George Washington, like next to Lin-Manuel Miranda. It'd be like, well, that's
Lin-Manuel Miranda is not the worst example of, actor who casts himself in his own things and probably isn't quite at the level of the rest of the performers. But I just think, I guess with RZA too, he does a lot of his stuff by himself or like with one other character or something. Most of the actual plot of everything revolves around the lions and even like X-Blade, while part of it, like the big goings on, like plot move forward scenes of the movie are all pretty much the Lion Clan deciding to do something or not. So that's, I think that's why the RZA didn't bother me too much, is it was like a RZA scene and that was cute, and then we went on and did the cool shit.
The name of the movie is The Man with the Iron Fists. It's not the Lion Clan versus whoever.
And that's part of why the RZA bothered me so much, is because his character feels so superfluous. I'm like, why are we even bothering to suffer through these scenes if it doesn't matter?
In a movie that is ostensibly about him, according to the title.
He is the man with the iron fists.
He is the man with the iron fists.
Eventually. Before that, he's just the man.
Like an hour into this hour and a half movie.
Yeah, he is the man with the skin and bone fists, and then things take a turn. I don't know. I love this movie. I think all the like martial arts is great, silly. It's none of it makes any sense. I think the music is really fun, and I think I just love this movie. It's so good. They do really good kicks and stuff and flips, and I think all of the other actors in it are also great. Obviously they're better than the RZA, but they're at a level where I think if it wasn't for him, maybe this would be a hit because they're all just so fun. And there are a lot of these guys like your Daniel Woos or your what's his name, Byron Mans, who have lots of charisma and a lot of the times have to act like really serious cool guys. So it's fun to watch them all cut loose. Even Lucy Liu, I feel like it's a little, a little room to have some fun here, and she's terrific.
Well, that's like the thing where it's like, wow, there's like good actors in this movie doing good acting, and then there's the RZA. It really is an incredible drop off, and like if he the better version of not even this movie, but what he wanted to do, where he is the blacksmith who makes the weapons, but is truly a background character. And you could even have the thing where, like, there's cutaway. Like, instead of taking 15 minutes away for his origin story, which does not matter, like, just have establishment scenes between him and his girl, and they're just talking about, like, once I get the money, I could get us out of here, and we can leave this horrible village that's full of war and like, fucking gangs and, like, all that shit. And just have that be a fucking C plot behind everything else that's going on. Like, he doesn't need to become the man with the iron fist. Like, this movie could be called the man with the knife armor or the man with the knife gun. Like, that's what this movie could be called. And then the RZA is like, because I feel like there are directors who do that, where, like, they want to be in their movie, but they're just, like, a C or B plot, right? And it's fine. Like, it fills out the world.
Yeah, like a certain director that this movie is really, really, really trying to emulate. Somewhat successfully.
Yes. The one who produced it.
Yes. And then I would also say the other one who screenwrote it is also kind of the same dude. Like, your Eli Roths are that kind of like, yeah, I'll be in the movie a little bit. I worked on it. Sure, whatever. But they're not, like, the main guy. The
role that he could fill is, like, just, like, filling out the world, but instead you have these, like, main characters, like, bumping into each other. And I think that's where, like, for me, I feel like the movie really fails, is it ends on what feels like such, like, a duck fart for what could be a really good movie, because the beginning and middle parts are so dynamic and so interesting and so fun. Like, even the, like, what I would call, like, the climactic scene at the Pink Blossom. Like, I think that's a good scene, but it, like, really plummets downhill from there because they don't know where to go. And also, this is, like, another point I'm tacking on, but, like, it's part of it, like, the villain suck. Like, everyone outside of, like, Silver Lion is, like, a bad villain.
What? So, out of your mind. The villains are the best part.
No, outside of Silver Lion. Outside of Silver Lion.
And a certain Body Man?
Oh.
And a certain Dagger Man?
The way... I don't know. The way that brass body goes down is, like, so lame.
What way? Like, we get fucking punched into hell or something.
Right, like, this movie didn't know how to end. But that's a whole different point.
Oh, my goodness.
That might
DJ.
be wrong. And
the ending was the best part.
I don't think so. What about you, Diggins? Break the tie.
I don't like the RZA's fight with Brass Body that much because the RZA's not very interesting in it.
Nope.
It's kind of my problem with the RZA is not a great actor. His character is fairly boring. And then he's not like a stunt person or a martial artist either, so his action scenes aren't that good.
And it's like a Steven Seagal movie where he's just punching everybody, and they're all just going, "Oh my god, he punched me so hard!"
Even like as far as gimmicks go, I mean, like Jackknife has his weird like revolver knife drill thing,
which is fun.
Yeah, it also shoots like discs and shit. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Zen Yi has his armor made out of knives, which is
amazing.
Dumb and I love.
Little porcupine man. Yep.
And then the RZA has arms that look funny.
Yeah.
And so they make it so that when he punches, his punches are good. It's like the most boring possible power. It's so... But I do like Batista in that fight and in this movie in general. And I like the villains. I think the villains are some of the best part because they're... like Byron Mann as Silver Lion is like really hamming it up.
I said he was great. Great.
Poison Dagger. I love him like wearing the Palpatine cloak and being like, "We're going to have to do the evil thing." I think.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid. I love it. I think all the villain actors are having a great time. And I love their glam rock wigs, as I've already mentioned.
Yeah, I think all of their business where they're, like, you know, double-crossing each other, or, like, that scene, the scene where they go up against the Gemini twins and all the shit with them and Lucy Liu. Like, I think everything the villains do is the best parts of the movie. Every so often, they interact with one of the three main characters, and it's pretty good. But the bit where it's just like villains on parade and the tiger or the Lion Clan is causing mayhem, all work for me. Like I agree, the RZA is not the best part of the movie, and he's probably the worst part.
Yeah.
But and I agree. Here's what I'll say: I agree that the flashback scene is a little too much. I think you could take that out of the movie. And just assume that, like, we don't even need to know he's like a pressure point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he comes from.
He punches really good. So then, it's, you know, by the time you get to the end, yeah, you're just like, you killed my clan, Batista. I assume I had one. or whatever. So now I really hate you, and you also killed my girlfriend,
Yeah.
and you've done a bunch of other stuff. So we knew where this was going, but I think the idea of him being in this and taking himself very seriously, I find charming enough as a film watcher who knows that that's the RZA, that I am able to give it the pass. But I agree that the parts where he's not, like where it's just flashback, is pretty dumb. But yeah, I mean, I think all the villains are the best part, and besides all the rest of it, which is also perfect. It's a great movie, and I think I think it's great. I think the sets are great. I think the action is great. It's this is a absolute banger. I don't know. Where do we start with this? Who was everybody's favorite character? DJ, who was your favorite guy?
I don't want to say like Jack Knight. Like, the problem is like there's so few characters.
I'm just hanging my head in shame. There's so many characters. There's so many guys.
No, I know. I'm really fucking this up beyond belief. I'm gonna say Silver Lion. I really do like Silver Lion. He's very good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Good villain.
Remember that bit where he kills the guy and he makes a funny face at him? It's the best.
That was in the trailer. I remember that being in all the trailers.
Yeah.
That and the thing where like Zhen Yi has like the blood trailing like fucking everywhere. That was also in the trailer.
Oh
There were,
yeah,
some
where he like
shots that were in
spins
every
everybody
fucking
in slow
trailer.
motion and shit. Yeah.
Near the end, like.
How about the bit where Silver Lion is like, "We are lions," and he yells, and that's pretty fun. I think they gave every actor one pass to do a big yelly speech, and they all did a terrific job. Everybody used it at exactly the right moment. Speech. Yeah. I also loved his little bit. See, that's the thing I liked about him the most. He is the best part of the movie, correct? Byron Man, because he goes big and he goes small. You know, he has this little, he has this big like, oh, we're lions, whatever, and then he goes into the thing where he's interrogating the RZA, and he's like, "Are we animals or are we men? We're men." Yeah. Like he's got a really fun vibe. What about you, Diggins? Who's your favorite?
I mean, I was probably going to say Silver Lion, but now I feel like I got to say something else. So we have
that
more
is
to
the
talk
rules.
about.
Yeah, pick a different guy.
Sorry, Mubby.
You know what? I'm going to go with Lucy Liu's character, Madame Blossom.
Yeah,
she's a great character.
I liked her a lot. She gets a lot of scenes to be kind of like the very like calm, in charge kind of madame. Has a couple flirty scenes with Kurt Cobain.
Cameron Crowe, Diggins. Cameron Crowe.
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when she unleashes her prostitute assassins on the Lion Clan, she gets to have her big action scene with I think it's Bronze Lion she's fighting, and that's really cool. She does a lot of spinny flips and stuff, and fights with a fan. It's cool stuff. So yeah, I think she is kind of like one of the workhorses of the film. She's not necessarily one of the flashiest parts, but like everything she does kills.
I would agree. She was the part that in the beginning I was like, oh, okay. I remembered liking her on my rewatch. I remembered being like, oh yeah, she's fun. And then in the beginning of the movie, you're kind of like, yeah, all right, she's just there, just kind of telling this guy the stuff that a madam usually tells people that come into the brothel, and she's making some moves and whatever. Then right around when the third act starts, she kicks it into high gear and does her big yelly speech. And then, I would say a lot of the fight scenes were fun for different reasons, but I do think her shit that she was able to pull off with the fan, and also just like the way that her character kind of flew around the room and stuff. She had a very kind of weightless, fun action
I think
vibe that
she
works.
does the most like wire stuff out of anyone in a single scene. Like Zhen Yi also does a fair amount of wire work, but she has just like every other move she does is like her flipping through the air on a wire.
Yeah.
I have a nitpick, if I may.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
So I wish that so at the end when she has all of her like gals like fighting the lions to like protect their sovereignty as like, I don't know, more or less free peoples, I guess, or whatever.
I think she mostly just wants to steal the gold.
Yeah.
fair. To what end, I guess, but yeah, just to have gold is like fine.
She doesn't really like the lions. Like, I think she can kind of sense that they're gonna double cross her. So might as well.
So she has her girls, and they're all in like the black, like kind of outfits.
Oh my god,
Black Widow, blah blah blah. I wish that she was an outfit that kind of went along with that. So it's like she is the leader, because what she was wearing like was not even clothes. So I thought that might have been a better. I don't know, just like a costume standpoint, it would have just been better if she had like a costume that was like theirs for some uniformity, which isn't always bad. Sometimes uniformity is good.
I liked the color of her outfit because it matched the blossominess of it. I also, when they started doing their little bites, I was like, oh, they're snakes. I get it. And then it was like, no, they're Black Widows. And I'm like,
I didn't get that. Like, they should have been snakes.
But then
if they were Black Widows, they should have bitten off their heads.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, she's a snake in Kung Fu Panda, I think. So
she is.
It would have carried over. It would have been like a prequel or sequel, I guess. It came after Kung Fu Panda. Yeah.
No, I liked her outfit like in the every other scene, but just like at that scene when she's like summoning all of her ladies to go fucking do murder. Fuck and do murder. Yeah, that is right. To fuck and do murder.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And that's what most of the characters in this movie did in some order. There's a lot of fucking and a lot of murder. I would say I liked her a lot. I liked how she grabbed onto the Crowe's balls. That was great. Really gave him a squeeze. She was she was all up in there.
They added sound effects to that. It sounded like she actually crushed them into dust.
Yeah. It was like nuts cracking.
I almost want to say like they could have just put like a bunch of like like walnuts in a bag and just because there was a lot of hand motion too. At one point, she like shifted her grip to serious ball crushing mode.
Yeah, that was not sexy ball crushing.
Yeah. I also think like her. I think one of the things I liked about her is we didn't figure out what her gimmick was until the end. So it was like her gimmick in the beginning. You think all the girls have their their little bitey things, and they also have their I don't even know what you call them, like sashes that are also razor things. And then she whips out the fan, and then you're like, oh, cool, she's fans. That's her thing. So she's like
Katana.
Exactly. She's Princess Katana. And she even does more of that shit than they ever did in any of the Mortal Kombat movies, where she like throws it like a boomerang and it cuts your throat. Like, perfect stuff. Yeah. I also liked her sound effects. I think they gave her a lot of cool, like, whenever she jumped, there was a lot of like whoosh, and it was everybody got a little bit of that, but I always remembered it with her because of I don't know, just because the sound designer thought she was the best, and she is the best. But you guys
your
are
favorite character?
I mean, you guys are close. You're almost there. The correct answer is both Gemini twins. They have the best dumb fighting style. I don't understand it. And I think they're twins, but also they seem to be fucking. Like, it's whatever they're up to is amazing. And their little, like, swords and she's cut guns on all of her body. Like, I don't think they're the best. I agree. Both of those two are my favorites. And then Russell Crowe, we've already sang his praises. I think I like Daniel Wu a lot, but he wasn't enough of the movie for him to be, like, my favorite part. I do think the Gemini twins fighting bit is my favorite individual bit of the movie.
Right. If you had asked my favorite action scene, that's the one I would have given.
Yeah, and I like that they're like so formidable, and the characters immediately see them start it up, and they're like, "Oh my god, the famous Gemini Stance! What can we do?" And I just like them a lot. I just liked anybody with a gimmick that was a solid gimmick, and they were the most, I would say, connected to their gimmick, besides maybe X-Blade, as like they wear it on their sleeve, and they're it's just wild.
I struggle to imagine a single scenario in which the legendary Gemini Stance is useful.
Right?
You can see behind and in front and upside down in case that's needed.
Would either of you like to try and describe the Gemini Stance for those who have not seen the movie?
I mean, like, it's like he's picking her up. It's like it's got to be something in ballet and shit, right? Like,
well, I don't know about that. It's like you're back to back, but then you rotate the one body 180 degrees so the heads are touching.
Yeah,
180 degrees centered on the head, so that the second person is like up in the their legs are like up in the air, and you're like double height. But yeah, the other person is upside down in the air.
And then both your arms are out in like a T formation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you, I don't know.
You like spin around real quick just to show everybody you did a Gemini stance. I mean, I could see that being something that in a fight would be like, uh-oh, these guys know something, and we gotta really take them seriously. Besides just their ridiculous swords and all that stuff.
It's like, oh my god, the core strength is incredible.
Yeah, and also, like we said, they're the Gemini twins, but they're also it's a lot. It's something's going on there.
Some incestuous twin.
It would appear.
At one point, somebody, I think Silver Lion says, like, Mr. and Mrs. Gemini. Like,
I remember that too. Yeah.
It's not clear what the relationship is here. And then the credits don't help because they just call them Gemini male and Gemini female.
Yeah. I had that same, I remember hearing that line as well and being like, because they also like die holding hands. And I guess that would work for twins
sweet.
too, but it's very like, yeah. If they were just
they have, like,
flipping
a vague, yin-yang thing going on, and so it's kind of, it's obviously supposed to be that, but yeah, it's weird.
If they were both just flipping each other around with their swords, I think I'd buy that they're just twins. But when he like picks her up and spins her body around and uses her as a gun, it's a little bit more like when ice dancing twins ice dance together, and you're like, what's going on here? You guys, something's going on. But beyond that, I like their gimmick the most. I like that they weren't magic either. I didn't mind the magical people, mostly Brass Body and the blacksmith. But I liked, as much as I liked Poison Dagger, I think his gimmick is easily the dumbest. Although it does get the Gemini twins, but yeah, I don't know. This movie's awesome. We already talked about this. What's up?
I was guessing, what is Brass Body's like superpower? Is his chi so great that like he is very tough skin? And why does it only activate when you like hit him?
It's actually like a Pinocchio situation. A Chinese metal worker carved a man out of brass. And a fairy brought him to life, and so now he is Brass Body.
How do you get those tattoos? Maybe he had them before he became Brass Body?
No, they were, they used metalworking tools.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, like a big axe, or like, I don't even know what metalworking tools were back in the olden days, besides a hammer and an anvil.
1860.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So this movie takes place in China in the 1860s, and the RZA is in it. So you're kind of like, are we just going to pretend he's not black? And that's fine. Like, whatever. He's in it. But then we learn later in the movie that he's actually a freed slave or something?
He was freed, but then because American society is racist, he like gets attacked and accidentally kills a dude, so he has to flee on a ship, which somehow from the eastern seaboard of America goes all the way to China without stopping anywhere else.
Yep.
Also, Diggins, he didn't just kill some guy. He killed a white man. That is the highest order of person you can kill. In
the guyest of guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then he crash landed in a big monk temple thing, and they trained him, and then he became a blacksmith. It's amazing.
Yep. It really just didn't need that. Didn't need any of that.
I feel like he might have been a blacksmith, like as a slave. He might have like done blacksmithing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So I think it's like he just takes a brief interlude to be a monk and then goes back to blacksmithing.
That makes sense.
What's insane about that whole backstory, it seems to be the whole purpose of it is to say that, hey, so because he learns like Buddhism, right? Just like the basic tenets of Buddhism. And it accelerates very rapidly to, if you have strong chi, you can control inanimate objects. And it's like, whoa, what are we doing here? Yeah, it was just a means to get to a weird end.
He joins because the Grand Master is giving a speech that's like, racism is bad.
Also giving that speech apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of races in there that were going on, you know.
There's some racism, you know. Maybe they just got in trouble. Corporate sent them down and was like, you gotta do a racism training today. Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, in this movie and its depiction of Chinese culture, I wouldn't say there is 0% racism.
That's true. And also, we learn, like, well, because I think it's funny, the inanimate objects chi thing, because also it's like, yeah, I know, they all have that. Like, I just assumed that that's how Lucy Liu is throwing her thing and it's doing spinning. Like,
yeah,
none
right?
of this is real. Like, if you just told me he made really good, hands, I'd buy it.
Yeah, I guess that's the weird thing. It's like, why are we going out of our way to, like, explain some of the stuff that we don't need to? And why the RZA just felt so self-important to make him a super main character.
No. I will say, apparently, the original cut of this movie that the RZA presented was 4 hours long.
Oh my god,
what?
I'd die. I'd love to see. What was it?
What?
Like, was it just more of his adventures in,
I
on
don't
the
know.
sea?
It's never been released. I don't know.
We'll never know.
Oh my god, we need Martin Shkreli to buy it for us. Martin, if you're there.
He wanted
Martin,
to
if you're
cut it
listening.
in two and make like a part 1 and a part 2 like Kill Bill, but the financial backers were not having that, so instead it was ruthlessly cut down to 90 minutes.
I mean, it should have been like, we'll give you one, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah. But
Man.
My point in saying this is that in the original cut of the movie, it is possible that every tiny, like, weird thing a person does is explained in a 15-minute flashback.
Oh my god, we need HBO Max to release the director's vision.
Release the RZA cut.
4 and 3, release the RZA cut. I can't imagine that there's more of his backstory. I wonder where the rest of the movie is, because there's nothing that the movie feels like it skips over, I guess, where you're like, we didn't explain that super well. Maybe more lion politics in the beginning. I don't know.
I was slightly confused by the movie opens with the governor like telling the lions to guard the gold, and then later they have to steal it. It's like, why are they not? Why don't they have it? Why aren't the Gemini twins like, yes, the lions who are supposed to join us in guarding this gold? I don't understand that part.
Well, okay, so let's figure that out. So, but the Gemini twins are sent by the Emperor, right? Or something like that?
I don't think so. The only person sent by the Emperor is
The
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah, I assumed that they were like the more official guys, and they were like the feds, and all the Gold Lion and everybody like that was like local sheriffs. But yeah, I might be wrong about that.
I'm looking at the plot now.
Yeah.
So the gold shipment arrives in the village, accompanied by 2 skilled warriors. So are we sure it wasn't the Emperor? Because they were just with the gold.
Maybe I don't know. Like I said, this whole
regardless, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you go.
No, I was just gonna say it seems like the Gemini twins were there to protect gold. Who sent them? Who the fuck knows?
Well, could it be that the governor was like, "You guys have to escort the gold," and then Silver Lion killed Gold Lion and was like, "No, we're stealing it now." Is that what happened?
It's crazy how I assume we all basically just watched this movie and like we can't remember.
I think that's what it was.
Chunks of it.
I mean, I knew that they were going to try to steal the gold, or like that was pretty clear from the beginning.
Yeah,
so I didn't really need that
thing.
explained. Yeah, so I may have just filled in blanks in my head.
Sure.
Because don't they kill the governor?
No.
No, I don't.
What's that first scene where everybody gets killed?
That's Gold Lion.
I think somebody else important dies in that scene.
No, I think just Gold Lion, because Gold Lion dying is like why everything gets set into motion.
They're fighting the Hyena clan, and in the middle of the fight, Poison Dagger shoots a dart into Gold Lion's neck.
Right. I don't know. We'll never know.
Nope.
Remember when they ripped that guy's arms off? That's fun.
I mean, I will say, it's so unimportant to the movie, and that's fine, by the way, for what this movie's trying to be. I think it's when the movie tries to get into areas of, we're gonna do, like, complicated backstory and, like, cool plot points in a 90-minute kung fu movie. It's like, no, that's not your lane, dude. It's get Cameron Crowe to, eviscerate a big man called Crazy Hippo. More of that, please. That's like what I'm here for, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. You really cut that guy up.
Oh, man. What a great invention, whoever invented his little gun knife thing. Just so fun. So fun.
They have to assume he invented it, right?
I don't know. We don't know if he has like a Q, like a James Bond, like a Q.
Oh, maybe. Oh, my God. Imagine if this is just the jumping off point for this, like, jackknife, James Bond universe where he just goes from different place to place and just has an insane amount of sex and kills one or two people.
He just shows up in all the various British colonies to like thwart plant plots or whatever.
Oh my god, I'd love that.
So I know it's revealed that like Jackknife is working for the Emperor, but why is he here?
Well,
Guarding the money.
Presuming that this is meant to be roughly mid to late 19th century China,
sure.
The government of China at this period of time was heavily advised by many Western powers, including the British, and the British did, in fact, station soldiers in China.
Oh, okay. All right. Did not know that.
For the purposes of controlling the opium trade, among other things.
Hey!
So all of his character actually makes sense in that context.
Look at this movie being historically accurate.
Well, I didn't say that. No, didn't say that.
Look at this movie being respectful to women.
Definitely didn't say that. Hey guys, did you notice that literally every single named female character is dead by the end of the movie?
Yo, Lucy Liu that was a cheap ass death. I thought that was bullshit.
I get
very,
it.
Very, very bullshit.
Kung fu movies tend to not reward those who seek power, even if it is justified. You gotta be out for revenge. The girlfriend gets the short end of the stick.
We certainly can't let women
I feel
live.
like it is bizarre that she died at all. Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing.
Well, then how else could he be... How else could he be so mad that he punches better?
Right? And it's like... that's not even the thing that, really motivates him later. It's learning that Batista killed all the members of his temple. And that's why he really kicks it into gear, if I remember correctly.
No. That's incidental. That's just like Brass Body in most of the movie is just like the RZA just punches good because he's like invincible. And then at the end, when it turns out the RZA can also punch good, he's like, I guess I must use my actual fighting skills now. And the RZA is surprised. He's like, lion, or like, I don't know what it is, like tiger style fighting. I thought that clan was extinct. And Batista's like, hey, it is, because I killed him. It's just him like
being tough.
Being like, I'm so evil, not anything that the RZA
okay. That makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm
sorry, I've been saying the RZA. I should be using the character's name.
His name?
Thaddeus.
Oh yeah, Thaddeus Smith.
Ugh.
That's
Thaddeus Henry Smith.
It's weird. I mean, the women thing is weird because the movie's like they're killing it when the women are doing their thing, like when the whole Black Widow business, and then the bad guys just start shooting them, and then they all die, and it's like, okay, is this not something you guys considered would happen? Like,
I guess I should say before the tweets come in, the Zhen Yi's fiance.
Oh yeah, that's
does
true.
Live, but she's also only in one scene at the very beginning. So yeah, other than her, every single character in the movie dies. Every single named female character in the movie dies.
Yeah.
What else was enjoyable about this movie?
Everything.
Remember when the Gemini twins died in like a little yin yang symbol? Like
and they got like poisoned by Poison Dagger.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Fuck that guy, right?
Poison Dagger, so fiendish.
He is not cool.
By the way, so Jackknife goes to investigate the murder of like the Gemini twins and all. I guess it was the like the Lion Clan. They're all fighting, and he's like, Mercury. It's like, who could have access to Mercury? The blacksmith. Does it ever get linked to Poison Dagger? Like, do we know how Poison Dagger gets Mercury, or is it like, nah, whatever?
The Thaddeus did in fact make them all their weapons, including that blow dart.
Oh, okay. So that's just all right. Okay, it's never like said straight up though, right? Like we just kind of learned that. When
Thaddeus comes to after Jack has saved him, he shows him like the design for the blow dart and is like, "You made this, right?"
It's weird that his name is Poison Dagger, because it's not dagger; it's Poison Dart.
Yeah.
Right.
The man never uses a dagger the whole movie.
Or poison. Mercury's not poison. right?
Mercury is poison to you. If mercury's in your system, it's not good. It doesn't instantly kill you and make your veins turn green, but it is very bad for you.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, that's probably the bigger nitpick. Is
well,
like
it's not
that's
poison
not what
either,
does.
right? It's venom.
You should have had a fictional
because
poison
it's stuck into your body. You have to ingest poison, I believe.
Oh,
So he's Venom Dart.
Poison is if you eat it and it's bad for you, then it's poison, which is how mercury works. Yes. Venom is if it bites you and and it's bad, then that's venom. But
so it should have been Venom Dart.
That's usually only applied to living things. I don't think use like a poisoned arrow is still poison.
Oh, while we're on the topic of him, worst death in the whole movie. He easily had like the worst fucking death, in my opinion.
Like worst aesthetically or worst in terms of gruesomeness?
Worst in terms of like, it was like kind of boring, right? Because, you know, I don't really care about the gruesomeness. Like the aesthetic is whatever. But like his chain, this is like so weird. So
sorry,
go for it.
I was just basically asking like worst as in you didn't enjoy it or worst as in like rawest?
Oh, no, worse is in I hated it because that's like such a dumb way to go out. I really feel the same way about Brass Body. Silver Lion was like the only one who like I had like an acceptable death from like an interesting standpoint. I wasn't a fan of Lucy Liu, Pink Blossom Ladies. The big character deaths could have been a lot like better and bigger. There's really these like big, like larger than life characters, and they die with like a fucking knife in the back because she was saving a child. Why was she saving a child?
Heart of gold, you know.
DJ.
Also, there were a lot of children involved in the brothel bits. That's where the kids hang out.
There were.
Yeah, weird. I liked with Poison Dagger's death the way that Wyatt Russell played it. The way where he like comes up to punch him and he like just stops and he's like, oh, looks
lights
like
a cigarette on his like hand or something and then starts smoking it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That was that was stylish.
Oh, that was dope.
And then for a minute, Poison Dagger's like, imperialism's bad.
Also, like Poison Dagger's like, it's not like I think with that death, the only thing that got me was like, take the chain off, dude. What's stopping you?
That's what I'm saying. That's not how. It's like Austin Powers, the guy on the fucking the laser ray. It's like
Wait, which guy are you talking about? Laser ray,
or like isn't the guy
steamroller?
Like, yeah, steamroller. That's what I meant. I mean
steamroller.
It's it's like
many
the guy
dudes have fallen into a thing that has gears and been eaten up by the yummy gears and then exploded. But usually that's because some part of their body or something gets cut into gears. But with this, it's just a chain that he's holding onto, and it's like, I wrapped it around his hand, but you would assume he could at least, he doesn't even try to he's just like, I guess I have to die now.
Right. He pulls on it, and it's like, well, that's not going to work. You're not going to break a chain. Maybe you could undo it, right? Yeah. It's not like adhesive. Yeah.
How did he wrap it around himself so well? Did he tie a knot?
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe he did.
This bowline would be great for fucking ship anchor.
But I don't know. This movie's great. What else parts of it are great? The parts with the I don't know, the clans.
So I will say what I find interesting, it seems like our main character is going to be X-Blade, right? Like it seems like he's going to be our main protagonist because he's I think he's
Gold Lion's son,
brother.
He's Gold Lion's son. Silver Lion's adoptive brother.
Got it. Okay. So he's Gold Lion's son, and it's like he's going to avenge the death of his father, or like the death of his father is what sets all the things in motion, right? So really great fight scenes, and then comes up against Brass Body and just gets Brass Body's like the one character who he's useless against. Just has nothing.
Knives don't work. I've got nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he tries punching, right? He's like, "Oh, no knives, punching. Oh, punching, no punching, and no knives. I'm done. I have nothing." So obviously he gets bodied by Brass Body, and he sits out like 3/4 of the movie, and then just like comes in at the end. So he's not the main character, even though he should be. I'm trying to think of another funny name.
Russell Westbrook.
Crowe,
How about that one?
I'm not as good as Diggins. Russell Westbrook isn't the main character because he's only in for bits at a time. So we're left with Thaddeus is kind of our main character, and it's his bad.
It's kind of like, I mean, if anything, it is kind of like Big Trouble in Little China, where we are watching the sidekick throughout most of the story. We're watching the story through his eyes, where the protagonist is clearly X-Blade, and then the blacksmith is involved. People know him, and he gets to see all of the stuff happen. But he's not that important to the plot.
Yeah, but in that movie, the sidekick character is Kurt Fuller, so he's way more interesting.
And
to
in
watch.
this one, it's RZA, who I think is terrific. But I see.
You don't actually think
there's
that.
something
That's not
okay.
a real
So the thing with him is, for me, is he's got this you could tell he's trying as hard as he possibly can, but also his character, he's taking it so seriously. He's the only character really outside of maybe X-Blade who has no, there's no sense of irony or anything about this. They don't have a bit where they giggle or something. And you're like, that's this guy's character. Or he's never enjoying anything. He's always really grim, except for when he's with his, I forget the name of his girlfriend. They give her a name, but Lady Silk. That's right. Yeah. So except when he's with her, and I kind of think, I don't know, I just find it funny to watch him be like, there's only 3 things that you need to make a weapon. And just deliver really, really shitty dialogue. I know, but sometimes I enjoy.
Right?
I like watching an actor act out of their depth. I think sometimes that's fun. And because with him, if he was the main character of the movie, clearly, and it was about him, then I think it would bug me. But there's so many times in this movie where for 5-10 minutes we just cut to the villains and watch them do stuff. So I don't know. I'm willing to forgive it. I think there's enough without the flashback, which I do think is a little much. But even with the flashback, a lot of the scene is the monks giving narration or doing funny stuff.
Yeah, he
so that's good.
Acts in that
I think
scene.
that's I want to say the movie knows its limitations,
but the scenes are still
they're not
boring.
Great. Remember the part where that guy breaks that bell into a million pieces of CGI? That's pretty cool. But that was the worst effect. I don't know why.
That was another big one from the trailer. By the way,
there's so much of this movie that does, I think, legitimately look pretty good in a low budget kung fu movie shot to be cool looking kind of way, where working within limitations of budget, and also we have actors that can actually do martial arts to some extent, or at least very physical stunt performers. But with this, it was there were just some scenes like that where I was like, why are we even bothering? But where was I going with this? Anyway, I like the RZA because I didn't. I just my problem with him, or my thing with him, is there wasn't so much of him outside of that flashback that I was ever able to get tired of him. There was only enough that I was like, oh, this is a little bit, or maybe wearing thin. But then the movie almost always got a new guy. Decided to focus on someone I liked more. And also, I kind of knew where it was going, so I was able to, I don't know, just get excited to see other things happen. Maybe that helps.
Wow. But me, the person who never saw the movie before, watched these RZA scenes and I was like, why? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Well, and I think another thing with it too, and I don't know where you come down on this, but for me, I felt the movie, the front half was really good and felt RZA light. House Cards comes falling down, villains get the one up. Middle part, little stagnant, but overall good. And then the ending was fine. The middle for me was probably the worst part because it's the RZA just complaining, Russell Crowe in the brothel. And, you know what it is? Your 3 main characters doing really uninteresting things. The RZA's just brooding, Russell Crowe's in the brothel, and X-Blade just out, incapacitated in a bed. So, the 3 people, and the villains have no one to challenge them. It's it's fine, but there's not really any big stakes.
Yeah, Gemini Twins, this is where Lucy Liu really becomes a part of the picture.
Right, you get that.
She gets to talk and stuff and take the statues and put the keys in them suggestively.
No.
It's a lot of, oh my god. It's a lot of running around for a 90-minute movie.
I am more or less with you, DJ, though, where it's the middle really sags, and especially by the time we got to that flashback scene, I was really my interest was fading fast. I think the end for me brought it back for the most part, other than the RZA stunts. But I do agree with you about that flagging in the middle. I think it even for such a fairly short movie that mostly goes by quick, it drags there. Which is part of my thing where I say that length of movie doesn't matter. It's how well it's paced. Even if it's a 90-minute movie, if the middle's poorly paced, then it starts to drag.
Hey, I'm with you. I am like 1,000% with you, man. I'm right there.
Remember when Batista carries all the kids? Pretty amazing.
I love that. I don't know why so when he's carrying all the kids and then he launches them off of his shoulders and they all very softly land on bags of hay or whatever. Did he want that to happen, or would he have been fine if every kid just hit their head on
I think he liked the kids. He gave them he tussled their hair before he picked them up.
I think unlike the
classic
jackals,
good guy.
Unlike the jackals, I don't think he would have been okay murdering children.
I feel like his deal was he's just a mercenary guy and he loves the kids, but also, he's there to do murders. I don't know.
He loves kids almost as much as he loves murder.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's weird.
Remember when he comes into Silver Lion's place for the first time, and they just keep the head of some dude he killed for some reason?
Oh yeah, in the fish tank, right?
Oh yeah.
No, it's just mounted on the wall, and a snake.
Oh,
comes out of his mouth.
sure. See, I have this scene going right now because I'm just kind of scrubbing through the movie trying to find funny stuff. And there is that. I think that's the same scene. Or there's also a fish tank with a head in it, or something in the back. It's like a little terrarium. Probably thinking about the same thing. So you can see it over Brassbody's shoulder when he enters the thing. But it's great.
I will say, if I could sing this movie's praises, I do think that it knows what movie it is, and it mostly stays in that format. And I think they got actors to really complement what it's doing, the more... And again, I hate to keep piling on the RZA, but I really think it's, important, where everyone has this more, jocular tone to what's going on, where, we're gonna do a lot of, ball joke, dudes' balls jokes, and fucking just, sex jokes, and, silly killings, and Gemini twins, and it's all very fun, and that tone for the most part I think the movie keeps, and I think that's where it helps to keep the movie enjoyable, between all the action scenes. It's crazy. This movie's close to being really, really good for a kung flu popcorn flick, but
yeah, I think it is really, really good. And it doesn't fall short. The opposite opinion. I like that. You know what I do like about this movie? It's great. You know what I don't like about this movie? Whenever guns are part of it, why is there so many crossbow guns? They're lame. Everybody should just fight with swords. If somebody's fighting with swords, everybody else should have swords. I don't like that. You could just get massacred by guns. I get that there's the one big gun, and that's its own thing. That the one that the general has, but everybody else, nobody should be able to bring little crossbows. It's cheating.
I do like the line.
I was gonna say you don't like Russell Brand's line where he's like,
"Yeah,
I always bring."
Well, I guess with him, it's that's what his deal is. Enough that it's. I guess it's just goons shouldn't get to have guns. I think no one should lose a fight because they just get shot. Which is
no guns for goons.
What are we doing here? All the what are we calling them? Black Widow women just all get lit up and killed. So lame. Also, I guess the Gemini twins are guns too, but that's okay because it's also an acrobatic gun bit.
Because this, you get a gun if it's only one shot. You get exactly one shot with a gun, and that was it. It's a little single shot.
Everyone just has a little one-shot Derringer.
Exactly. That was the size of the gun part of
You'll get
Russell. Oh man, Russell Wilson. That was the gun part of Russell Wilson's gun was just this little Derringer thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of moving parts in that, whatever it was.
It was tiny.
You had to have whatever launched the shuriken. You had to have the motorized thing that made the spinny knife had to have an insane amount of torque because it just ripped through chains and stuff. So the motor in there is amazing.
Yeah,
and people.
And
well,
people.
people's people. You know, like it got the hippo's belly, but like there was one part where there's like a steel chain that he uses the spinning knife thing to cut, and I'm like, what the fuck is that made of?
Right.
But I don't know. I think he made that himself.
You think he just invented?
Yeah, I
the
think so.
revolver
I think
gun?
that's why he uses it. He's like really proud of it, and he takes it everywhere. It's like, yeah.
It's a shame it didn't.
Remember when he? Okay, so let's talk about all the bits where they shout. Remember when he shouts after he kills the hippo man? So great.
Yeah, it's so great. And because I think with him, it's like the tone shift is so drastic. It's like Crazy Hippo's like, you want to fucking fight? And he's like, we don't have to do this. We don't have to have this occur. I would rather you just give me the lady. And then I will fucking murder every single person. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's
My
a good tone
name
shift. I like
is
it.
Mr. Knife. Like, just so wonderful.
Oh, it's funny.
Also, his beard is funny. The whole thing's great. I wish we got this Russell. Did I say you said Russell Wilson? I said Westbrook. Let's go in the other way. I wish I got this Counting Crows more often because he's so good at like big silly performances, and instead he's in the fucking Man of Steel movie going like Krypton died because it was very sad that Krypton exploded. And it's like, no, I want you to yell at people, dude.
It was very sad that Krypton exploded.
Krypton had its time, really. Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Russell Crowe and all these guys, the Crow, Brandon Lee the Crow, that guy...
God damn it, I was going to do that.
A regular knife would have killed him. It doesn't matter. He just had the one that was a saw as well. But, like, he left himself wide open for a big stab. So, not a whole lot there.
I mean, if you're just stabbing Crazy Hippo in the belly, like, it's going to hurt and, like, he might die, but being eviscerated and disemboweled like that, you know, that was just instant death.
That's fair.
You know, just insane. So, there is a difference.
I love that. I love the
knife.
scene, like, the speech he gives, because the camera goes on a little merry-go-round right around him. And I'm also not convinced he's not on a merry-go-round as well. And it's just, like, everything's moving. It's beautiful. And then, he gets all the prostitutes and goes upstairs. It's just like... And it's funny, because, like, a character like him, you'd be like, oh, he's like a secret agent or something. So he's going to have the prostitutes come to his room, but only for cover. So that it could seem like he's having lots of... But no, he is setting the high score on this brothel.
What about when Bill Russell he's like getting ready to go to work and the girls are like a little pleasure before business and he's like, you a business,
and I'm like, what is your business, sir? Do you need to have sex with 5 or 6 women before you can kill a guy? Like,
your business.
You just running up the expense account on the Emperor's dime.
That's how you do it.
I just want to say though, when Sheryl Crow is threatening Crazy Hippo, going like, or when he's like, you know, we don't have to do this. He's acting all polite and being like, oh, you know, we're just being friendly gentlemen here. We don't have to fight about it. But he's saying that while he's also saying like, oh, don't worry, we don't have to be rude or mean about any of this. I'm just taking this woman away from you because having sex with you would be the worst thing that's ever happened to a person.
That was fun.
It's like he's being a huge dick, actually.
Yeah.
No, he's right though, because you know.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely.
Right.
I mean, Russell Peters definitely would have been a better. I mean, we've seen like how amazing he is to all of the prostitutes. Like they're all having a ball. Maybe they're pretending to, but I don't know. It's seems pretty great compared to the Hippo Man, who is a large man. So you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I bet Crazy Hippo wouldn't quite find the Catholic.
Crazy Hippo couldn't have fit in that hot tub with the woman and like gotten underwater with her or whatever was happening down there. So 1 point for Crazy Hippo, or 1 point for 1 point for Russell. Like when the wind passes through a leaf, like Russell. 1 point for him. 0 points for Batman. That's what I'll say.
I have a question. Why was Russell the kid from? You got Diggins. You got him. Why was Russell the kid from Up wearing like glasses when
the glasses,
Madam whatever was like checking out? Like, what was
for
up
people
with
that don't know?
Why,
and
why
I would say there's some
those?
parts of the movie like the fight scenes which are definitely worth a watch. Also, this prostitute scene, like lots of prostitutes in this movie. I don't want to say there's very much nudity at all.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
you
think
don't
there's
see
no-
a nipple. No, you don't
It's
see a butt crack. You
exploitative
don't see a
in the
nipple.
way you'd usually expect, but where they're, it's a brothel, but it is the most PG of brothels. But yeah,
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 it's true.
we actually see several actual sex scenes going on, and yeah, we don't
we
see a
even
dang
watch the
thing.
when the girls
Nope.
are having Lucy Lou's giving the pep talk. Girls are all in baths, and they're also still wearing little bathing suits, or
Yeah.
they have their back to the camera. So very respectful. But either way, yeah, this is I'm going to set the scene here. We enter on a woman in a bathtub having a terrific time. Then, oh boy, no, not at all.
Run out.
Counting Crow. No, I did Counting Crows. Murder of Crows from BioShock. Yeah. He jumps up out of the bath face first, and he's got some stuff in his mouth too. And then he's also covered in water. He's got clothes on, but he's covered in water. He might throw a shirt on at that point, but then he walks by two women. One is tied up, the other one is doing something to the tied up one. And this whole time he's fiddling with his glasses, trying to get him clean, trying to hang him on his face. And they also just fall off once during the scene with Lucy Liu, and he doesn't care. I think he's just trying to look like a nice English gentleman, which he's certainly doing. I'm convinced.
Although I don't think he ever wears those glasses again in any other
it's
scene.
part of his disguise. He's really bad disguise where he takes the knife out and goes, "I'm Mr. Knife." Everyone knows who you are now, unless he brings a different weapon to every undercover operation. And he's comes in the next week with a shovel, shoots laser beams. "I'm Mr. Shovel." But yeah,
Well, that's not
right.
his real
But
name.
he's, but I guess if he's the guy with the jackknife, if that's his, or whatever this is, motorized knife, if that's his weapon, his secret awesome weapon, you'd know he's that guy based on that he has that. So he shows it to everybody first, and then tells them all that they should call him that. So it's if you use that again, everyone's gonna know you're that guy from last time.
And yet, Poison Dagger is still surprised to see him.
What is Poison Dagger's deal?
I don't think Poison.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that bright. Let me be
I
honest.
agree.
Well, Poison Dagger, you can see, works for the governor, so he's like a
Yeah.
double agent. He's betraying the government of China. So I guess there's been a secret spy, like you were saying, the James Bond jackknife adventures going on in this universe. He's been one of Jackknife's
Oh my god,
recurrent
yeah, he's
villains.
the Blofeld of the universe.
Oh my
yeah,
God, is it Spectre?
Incredible. He's the
Inspector,
architect
guys.
of all your pain.
I'm the architect of all your pain.
That's
James.
just a good impression. I
Now
think that one
Diggins
was
do it,
fine.
because I think that
I'm the architect. I'm the architect of all of your pain, an actual literal crow. Call.
I think both of you could do a good whatever his name is, the real guy. Heck is his name? Christoph Waltz? Yeah.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz. I always have to.
Yeah.
That's a bingo. I always have to go back to
I
that.
can only remember him from the Quibi one. Remember that? Dodge Tynes.
Oh my God,
That's
I
a
can't
cool
remember a
name,
single line.
Dodge.
Can you?
Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, I have.
Is there any other lines you can repeat?
No,
Besides that.
none. Not a single one.
Dodge, I know you're in a tough
Yeah,
situation, Dodge. Oh, that
I
was
mean, I can
Woody Allen.
imagine
That was
the
bad.
lines are all just him explaining the rules of the thing and being like, "There's the fucking, I don't know, you get $100,000 in your bank account or whatever."
Listen,
Yeah.
Dodge, you're gonna have to eat. You're not gonna be able to eat a meal and for 24 hours. I give the watch and the hide it up his anus.
Yeah.
It was the watch.
For a second, it was Richard Lewis, and then it became Christopher Walken.
Oh god.
Also, yeah, what's his name? Jackknife has a big scar on his face that I think Poison Dagger gave him, right? Yeah.
From Mercury.
So,
Yeah, he heavily implies that Poison Dagger is the cause of his scar.
good for him. I mean, so that's the one thing he did right.
I will say, I know he shouts in the one really fun scene in the brothel where we're introduced to Jackknife. But Russell Simmons doesn't do a lot of other shouting in the movie. It's
what
very
about the
muted
end?
otherwise.
Does he have a big shout at... I want to say he also has a big shout at Poison Dagger that's also very fun.
With Poison
And it's
Dagger.
I don't remember what it is. In my head, I know it happened. But is that when he does this little speech about, it's a fucking whole speech about something. It's about the chains fragging you in or something.
Yeah, imperialism is bad.
Yeah, I've got that scene going. I kind of want to figure out what that is.
But like my overall point, for the most part, it's a pretty muted Russell. I'm totally run out. Russell performance. What else was fun?
Oh my god! Hold on, I gotta go. And it's wonderful. Yeah. The line is he says it like poison dagger. You should have finished what you started. And then he just starts screaming, that's the difference between you and me. And he like cuts back in. It's like the fucking Mummy movie that he was in, where he like goes back and forth between Mr. Hyde and Jekyll. Yeah, where he's like screaming quiet. And I love that. I love when any character does that.
Yeah. Understand.
I think let's talk other stuff that was great. Remember in the end how it turns into the editing from the first Hulk movie, where it's all little panels separated, like we're looking through a window. That was interesting.
I don't know why only at the end we opted for this decision. Like, you could have done it at any point earlier, but no, now we're a comic book too? Is that even a trope of Kung Fu movies?
Probably some, but I wouldn't say it's what they're known for. I wouldn't say it's what any movie's known for. That's true. I feel like did a lot of like it is like something that like your really bulky adaptations, like your Spider-Man one, the one that they did just now in Into the Spider-Verse, where it's like, look, it's like a comic book page. But with this, it's just like, look, we want to show you a far away shot of him punching two people, but we also want to show you his face. So instead of editing between those two, we're just going to put them both on the screen. You tell us which one you like the best. I don't know. Like, part of the editor's job is picking the shot to show us, as opposed to making us look back and forth at them. But whatever. Sometimes it was cool.
So, Nando, do you think like the 51 Rotten Tomatoes score is just a travesty that is not fair?
No, I think there's 49% of people with bad taste. Like, I think that's a reasonable assumption to make about the world. I mean, I think there's at least 49% of the people that could watch this movie and be like, I didn't like it. And it's because of like what you said, where it's like, I don't like the RZA, I think he is a bad actor. I don't like his fists as part of it. Whatever. That I get that. But then,
so what you're saying is there's plenty of people with legitimate critiques about why this movie's
but then there's another
great.
51% of us that are like, yeah, maybe, but also all the other stuff that's great balances out to make it a positive, 2.5 out of 5 or above. Like, I think most of the 51% on Rotten Tomatoes are like 3 stars. That's my guess. I don't know how that works, but I think most people are like, some parts were good, some parts were bad. Like, I think the ending does really move. You got Russell Crowe. Damn it, I have to say, is Kurt Busiek a person? That guy. I think it's a comic book person. I think it's like a comic writer. Anyway, Kurt Busiek. He is in a. Oh wait, I'm supposed to do Russell Crowe. I did Kurt Russell. Anyway, Russell. Oh God, Jack Russell Terrier, the man, but a dog.
Terrier.
He what was I talking about? I feel like I forgot it. Oh yeah, him and Poison Dagger. That bit's fun where they're yelling at each other, and that bit's pretty quick. I do think we maybe linger on RZA a little bit too much. I think the X-Blade stuff is fun, and I think the brothel, all that business is great. So I think most of the action in the end is pretty entertaining. I love how like the fucking movie becomes Indiana Jones for a little bit with like all the traps and the fucking House of Mirrors in like what kind of trap is your House of Mirrors?
Yeah, can I say, that was weird.
Can I say I love Silver Lion's commitment to the bit?
Yes,
he acts like he got hit when X-Blade throws a knife at the mirror.
Oh my god, yeah, that was awesome. I think it's just so funny that the bit was like, it's like, okay, what are we gonna do? Well, we have to protect the crypt or whatever. All right, let's build a thing that like shoots you if you step on it wrong. Oh, that's terrific. Okay, great. What else we got? Okay, so I'm thinking Hall of Mirrors, and while people are distracted with Hall of Mirrors, we have a big log, and then we throw the log at them as they're trying to get out of the Hall of Mirrors. And it's a pretty bad plan, but it's pretty cool when he does it. And loved it. I like the scene where X-Blade kills all the dudes in like the whatever restaurant with all the rats. Yeah,
That was fun as shit.
Yeah,
that was.
Great. I love when the one guy like puts his hand on his shoulder and then his armor spikes come up and cut off the guy's fingers.
Yeah, that's really cool.
His armor's so dumb. I love it.
Like it's gonna.
How does it even work? Like, where are the spikes hiding? Is he like actually a tiny like shriveled man?
Well, that's the funny part because he's already quite skinny with this armor on. Like it's a real trim figure on him. So I think he's got to be really, really, just emaciated under that thing.
It's got to be chi, right? Like that's the only like explanation is that it's like fucking chi.
Is he forming knives out of chi?
Or like the knives are like collapsible in there, and he can control them uncollapsing with his chi.
It's probably it.
The armor's actually just full of molten iron that he forms into knives.
Well, that's I'd say as close as I'm going to give it because it's not just that like sometimes because this does happen. Sometimes it's like you were saying, like there's a spring-loaded, almost seemingly like trap thing on the shoulder that he activates to cut the guy's hand off. But the rest of his body is just covered in like little holes that are where knives come out of, and they're not on anything. Like it's not like there can be anything underneath them. They're all just like little plates with like a hole on it. So yeah, it'd have to come from like it'd have to be fed through the armor. I mean, you could do it. I'm sure like
unless he's
that's
secretly
true.
a skeleton,
or like he's like Magneto or something. I don't know.
Very spooky.
I mean, none of it makes any sense. It's pretty awesome. I like when the guys get him and then he just shoots them all with the knives. And he has that one guy who he shoots with his little back knife. Like he's got the one over his shoulder. It's got to be so heavy. Mm-hmm. Because besides all the mechanisms, you've also got all the knives sitting in there. Like, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
no
it's
mechanism, just chi. It's
probably really uncomfortable to wear.
Poor horse that he rides around on. But yeah, like he's got knee ones, he's got, foot ones. They're everywhere. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that fight scene is great. I don't know if that's the best one, because there's ones that are big, giant set pieces that are fun. But I think that might be maybe the most satisfying of the single character scenes. Like,
it's good because he's
really good at this. I mean, this guy, we have seen him in many things that we have covered. This is Rick Yoon, who is, besides being in Die Another Day, I believe as the North Korean guy who is pretending to be Diamond Man. Remember that? Ever seen Die Another Day? Oh, there's one guy who's...
the longest time.
I don't remember.
The bad guy is like this English gentleman man who is like a diamond magnate, and he's kind of like James Bond's equal almost. He's like a Richard Branson type, I would say, is kind of what you'd probably describe as, although like, that movie came out in 2000, so I don't know when Richard Branson really happened, but I think he parachutes into a press conference or something, and him and James Bond have a big fight with swords. Anyway, later it is revealed that he is actually a North Korean guy under like makeup and CGI skin stuff. So I'm pretty sure he's the actual dude. But he's also the bad guy in first Fast and Furious movies, Johnny Tran. Yeah. Yeah, he pops up from time to time.
Cool.
Yeah, bad guy in Olympus Has Fallen as well, if you've ever seen that. Oh, yeah, and he's in Jiu-Jitsu. Although I can't remember who Captain Sand is, but he's in there. Yeah, I have to assume, right? One of the guys
part of the crew. God, what an awful movie.
Oh my god, yeah, that stunk. Shit. Everything about that movie is bad. Like, it was just so boring. Like, Nicolas Cage did a better movie this year. I mean, Nicolas Cage did 2 better movies this year, really. I don't think that Willy's Wonderland movie was anything great, but it makes Jiu-Jitsu look like fucking, I don't know, a good movie. Or Jiu-Jitsu makes it look like a good movie. But then, yeah, like, we've gotten better martial arts movies, probably better movies with aliens. It's the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, yeah, that movie did have, because it was Predator. Man, I, wiped that movie from my brain.
It was ugly Predator. It was not a good Predator. Also, it also had, a comic book intro. Speaking of weird comic booky bits. Remember that? Where, every scene heading would be, the crashed alien ship, and it would be, a drawn version of that. Ugh. Anyway, listen, if you worked on that movie, I'm sorry, but I didn't really care for it. We haven't really talked about Dave Batista that much, even though we kind of have. But I don't know how much people understand if you haven't seen this movie. We've just kind of been describing characters and scenes that we like. The story doesn't matter. Like we said, they're going after gold. Everybody wants the gold. But
I will say, the IMDb summary is one of the few where it really captures what the movie's after. I think it's a very accurate IMDb
because the IMDb summary did call it the fabled treasure of gold, as if it's not something that everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah.
It is actually wrong on the facts, but it gives you
Correct.
the great idea.
But yeah, so you got Dave Batista in this movie. One of his first like big Hollywood movies. This is pre-Guardians.
Yeah, I was looking at his IMDb. This was like really the because I had on my show. I was like, I forgot Batista was in this movie. It's like, I mean,
he
big for him.
Yeah, I could only see
This is very big.
he was in one
role.
episode of Smallville, which I don't remember. And other things at his IMDb, he was in the Riddick movie, but that was after this. And he was in an episode of Chuck. So, like, yeah, this was huge for him. So, for no other reason, we should really appreciate this movie for giving us acting Batista. Yeah. But yeah, he's like a man who's Colossus, pretty much. But he's gold, or I guess brass,
Yeah, he can.
whatever that means.
Yeah, he can turn into brass. Why?
pretty cool.
Don't ask.
I think
It
it's
is
a really
pretty
good,
cool.
good-looking effect most of the time. I think it's better than you'd expect.
I think when he fully turns to brass,
Yeah,
his
that's what I was
head
gonna say.
looks
The
really
face
bad.
doesn't work, but when it's just parts of his body, they usually like animate it. Like I feel like you could just make him go like, well, there's brass underneath his skin, but they like have a bit of his arm turned to brass, and they play, they have a good sound effect for it. So yeah, and he's a bad guy. He kills the girlfriend for no reason, absolutely no reason.
Well, she did try to kill him,
Yeah.
but he's a bad guy.
Also, like,
And also, he had just gotten finished, raping her. So, it was not
and also,
not great.
where was Lucy Liu during all this?
a lot of good things. Not a lot of good things happen
No.
to women in this movie.
But like, so Lucy Liu is summoning all of the Black Widows, right? With her little clicky thingies, whatever those are. Why did she go? Oh, we're missing one. Otherwise, what are the clicks for? What if one of your girls got attacked by a regular man, not even a bronze man, but just or a brass man, just a unruly fella? Then you should probably check on her. I don't know. Yeah, like
Great point, Ando.
Great point, Anna.
I mean, but to be fair to Lucy Lawless,
No,
I mean,
that's true.
You can't
She's got a lot on her plate.
right?
A lot of plates in the air,
Yeah,
spinning plates, and
A lot of warrior
and fans,
Exactly.
mostly fans.
I mean, I do I love that she had the fans. I think the fans are a sick item to throw around and to block with and to stab with. All around one of my favorite weapons in movies to see used. So really terrific. I like that her army had those things in their hair the whole time, apparently. Those little bitey thingies, yeah. It's kind of
The
cool.
little snake bits.
Yeah. Never know when you're going to need to do a murder.
She brought a lot of like different attitudes to different scenes, which was cool. Like when she's dealing with the lions and Poison Dagger, she's like in her like badass leader role, and when she's doing the weird thing with
Beautiful thing.
Russell. Russell.
Oh
whatever.
my God,
I like that
DJ,
was
come
fun.
on.
So
Come on, you got to commit to the bit a little bit.
there are no other
I
Russells
got
or
another
Crowes.
one,
We're
but we'll
out.
save it. We'll save it.
I googled
We named
as
all
far
of
as
them?
I can tell. We have ran out of not all of them, but like do people know who? I think I closed it, but there's like a like Russell Adams who was like some fucking writer or whatever. No one knows who that is.
How will they know?
How will people know?
This is how you teach them. There's probably a Russell listening to this right now who's like, I am one away. They're going to get me. And then
He's so
just
mad.
giving up on the bit right before that. So sorry, fan Russell, if you exist. Or fan Crowe. Or Kurt.
Fan
Yeah, we
Kurt.
threw
We've
some
done a
Kurtz
few
in there for
Kurtz.
fun. I like
So,
the speech she
yeah.
gave about power that
Yeah.
went nowhere, but
I-
she didn't win. So it was kind of like, oh man, this is such a good speech.
Well, they had to kill him
I
all
feel
just
like they
because they didn't know
could've
what
just
else to do
won.
with them, right?
Why didn't they
like,
just
There's
win?
actually no reason for that.
It's like how the prostitutes are in charge of town now. Like,
Oh, I mean, yeah, I would have been down with that. Yeah,
yeah,
do Sin City style.
that would be such a
That's
cool
fun.
second one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, when the Jackals showed up and were going to shoot everybody with their Gatling gun, then probably she would have given up the gold anyway, and so it really
Yeah.
wouldn't have changed the ending.
Well, but then all the lions would be dead, so I feel like they could kind of move in and be like, "We are in charge of the whole city. Just take the lions' money and make an alliance with X-Blade, your good friend."
The village, Nando. It's the jungle
yeah, that's right.
village.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
What a
why. That's
guy.
my one thing with X-Blade. He is from the village. He should have an animal. He should be Porcupine. Like they should call him Mr. Porcupine or something. So all the rest of the ones, like, but he's not. Like his gimmick
has to
isn't
be
a
a
lion-y gimmick. His gimmick is like a spiky gimmick. Sonic the Hedgehog.
It wouldn't have
the
made
gimmicks
sense.
were costumes, right?
It wouldn't.
Like,
It wouldn't have made sense for a Chinese movie or a movie that's supposed to set in China, but they could have called him the Manticore, which is like
oh,
a
that'd be
mythical lion-like creature.
Yeah,
that
maybe
can shoot
Russell.
spikes.
Did we say Russell Simmons yet? Oh man,
We did. I'm telling you,
Russell.
there's no more Russells.
Okay, yeah, maybe we are out of Russells. Let's think of Crows. Crowe.
Crow from
What's
Ruby.
that? Oh, the animated thing that kind of,
TV
yeah.
show Ruby by
That's right.
by Rooster Teeth.
Anyway, a certain Englishman could have gone to him and been like, by the way, your thing is Manticore now. You should definitely go with that. And he'd be like, oh, thanks, certain Englishman. I like that better than X-Blade. Like, yeah, he does it.
That also doesn't make sense. Very rarely does an X-Blade become incorporated to his shtick. Or,
You have to be like all spread eagly like he was when those guys caught him, so he could do a full X-Blade maneuver. But beyond that, he's usually just Blade, spiky Blade Man, which is a good gimmick.
Also, Poison Dagger's also kind of like a fish out of water because he's not an animal either. They should. He had those like the giant eyebrows. He definitely should have been like some kind of eagle.
Yeah,
or
anything that poisons.
There's
Plenty of like poison dart frogs and shit. Maybe that, Mr. Poison Frog.
Yeah, poison frog. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do really like his. I liked how like for a while he was just like some guy who was in the background whispering, and then later he had a full costume going on underneath that could have been a whole new guy. Like, easily could have been showing that off. It's not like anything secret was going on. I mean, it was, but like all the characters were constantly walking around under hoods. So, like, I don't know, man. They're all whoever you think they are. Pick up a guy. If you see a guy in the street with a hood on, it's a very bad disguise. But, yeah, he's got, like, a whole white, very long white hair. And, like you were saying, the eyebrows. It's a great look.
I think it's meant to be kind of like a twist when you find out the governor's aide has been working with them. But, like, that character doesn't matter at all and only shows up once at the very beginning. So it's not a very surprising. It's not like a very impactful twist.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but he is cool. I mean, I do wish there was a little bit more of him fighting and stuff. But remember when he's getting chased by a certain Englishman and the Englishman's getting close. So do you guys remember what he does for defense? What Poison Dagger's like signature move
he puts
should be? He does it twice for some reason. Don't even know how. He flings off the coat he is wearing, and the certain Englishman uses his razor knife and turns it on so he can cut through the cloak, which gives us like a big, transition. And then he does it again with a different coat underneath or something, because that transition is used twice. It's awesome. And the certain Englishman is almost like, oh, thank God I have this knife, otherwise I'd be covered in cloak right now. Like, I don't know, dude, it's a fucking cloak. You'll be fine. It's not poison. It could be, but it's not. Yeah. I like the Yin Yang Twins, personally. That's what their name should be, right? As much as Gemini Twins is fun, they're the Yin Yang Twins.
I mean, yeah
maybe that's right. Everything's just some sort of allusion to a rapper RZA knows. It's just like, what you want to be in the movie? All right. Twins that jump around and fight and maybe are, doing sex to each other. Yeah, that's what your guys will be. And the Yin Yang Twins were like, wait a second, what? And he's like, too late. They're in the script. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if the Yin Yang Twins are actually twins. I would assume they are. Like in rapping, not in this. But, yeah. I don't know. This movie's awesome. Second one, probably not any good. But this one, I quite enjoyed. I understand your complaints about the RZA. Would you prefer a different member of the Wu-Tang Clan? Do you think Method Man could have brought this role to justice?
I don't think any member of the Wu-Tang Clan could.
Underestimating the powers of the clan. Yeah. It's a shame. Do you think, by the way... I kind of like the idea in my head that what's her name? What was it? Silk something? Silk Lady? Was it Lady Silk? Okay, yeah. I like the idea that Lady Silk wasn't going to run away with him. She's just like, yeah, I'll take your money, whatever. I'll put it in my box thing that I have over here. Yeah, we'll run away. Yeah, I tell that to all the Johns. That's how this works, buddy. And she died, and then he got like lots of spirit and revenge. And then another guy showed up, and he was like, oh my God, we were going to run away together. And then the man with the iron fist is like, no, you see. And then 15 other guys, and it was like, oh, right, prostitutes, okay. And then Jackknife is like, she was actually going to run away with me, though. I was pretty cool. She should have. This movie's awesome. What are we doing next week, you guys?
Shang-Chi.
And the Legend of the Ten Rings. That's so many.
Yeah,
I think, guys, do you think 10 rings is maybe too many rings?
For hands, it's perfect amount. For arms, it might be too many.
As many
right?
rings.
Like, I feel like you can. It's too many or too few. I'll take one arm ring, one per arm, or like 20 per arm. so I can do a complete block. But like with these, there's enough space in between that it's like, what if someone tries to cut your hand off? They might get it.
What if somebody shoots a poison dagger mercury dart into the spaces in between my armbands?
I have to get a new Mandarin. Whoa, we're out of Mandarins. But yeah.
Well, don't worry,
Ben Kingsley. We can bring back so many actors. Maybe that's how it ends. Maybe Abomination turns out to be the Mandarin. He's like, these are actually ring-sized for me because my hands are so large. You see, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Well, anything else about this movie?
Nah, I think it is what it is. I, take my notes, and then this movie would be amazing. But
your main note is convince the writer, director, producer to not also be in it. Somehow check the RZA's ego.
Not be in it. No. To not be a main character. Be a background blacksmith who wants to run away with this girl in some kind of B-plot, and you happen to make weapons for people, and you run into all the main characters. But, like, that's it. You fight exactly 0 times. You have no fights. And then at the end, you get to run away with your girlfriend. Like, Jackknife comes, gives you an extra bar of gold, and is like, here's some gold for your trouble, son. I know that you want to get out of here, so you're getting out of here on my dime, says the Emperor's assistant or whatever. By the way, one last quick thing. What was the thing that he was,
did we say Kerry Russell yet?
Was, I don't think what was the thing that Kerry Russell was holding at the end to prove that, like, he was an Emperor officer or whatever?
It was basically like a badge.
But
yeah, it looked weird.
Did you see it? It didn't look like a badge. It looked like a weird little...
Yeah, it looked like a badge you made in like kindergarten. Made of macaronis.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. DJ, what do you think a badge is?
No, but like a hunk of metal of like random shapes. Not like a sheriff's badge.
What do you think a badge is, DJ?
Everything shapes, God, DJ. We're nothing but millions of polygons in a simulation. Yeah.
That's true.
Fine. A poorly drawn shape with no
Maybe
symmetry.
that's the one thing.
What are you talking about? It was a beautiful symmetrical shape. It was like a little comb. Like a little decorative comb.
Was it? Perhaps it was.
Yeah, like the kind that you put in your hair, like at the back of like a ponytail or something.
I guess I missed that.
I don't think it actually is one of those things, but it's kind of got a similar shape.
Anyway.
Yeah. I thought it was funny looking.
Yeah, that.
Here first, everybody. DJ doesn't respect.
Definitely not the badge. You heard it first, guys. Diggins respects badges, no matter who's holding them. He is a fan of the blues. Is that right, Diggins?
Yeah. If there's one thing that people who listen to this podcast have probably learned by now, it's that
any
I love
badge
the
is a
cops.
good badge. That's what Diggins says. The Punisher. That's his favorite superhero. Anyway, this movie was pretty interesting. Yeah, I got no other thoughts. I liked all the small things about it. I thought the music was fun. Scenic, like the design of the sets and stuff was fun. Yeah, action choreography was pretty solid.
I will say, for a movie that was made for $15 million, shot on like a very limited time schedule, and then also edited 2.5 hours out of it did turn out surprisingly well. Even though I don't think it's that great and it's got problems.
That's true. I want to see the 4-hour version. I want to see the RZA cut. But, so, if you're listening, RZA, you know where to find me. Because you're a cool guy.
Man, do you think the RZA stuck around this long through me and DJ criticizing him
I think the RZA
so
just wants to hear people talk about the movie, you know? He's excited. He's excited for any praise whatsoever. Now, if we talk about Man with the Iron Fist 2... that might cause a problem. That may not be quite as praiseworthy.
Next week, Man with the Iron Fist.
Well, Shang-Chi is Man with the Iron Fist, too, as far as I'm concerned.
Man with the Iron Fist, The Legend of the Ten Rings.
I think you'll be very confused if you enter with that premise.
I mean, listen, this movie was cool. Anyway, what do you got to rec? Anybody got anything to recommend?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So many things. Not really. Just a couple things.
DJ, what do you have to recommend to our fine listeners?
All right, so I'm going to recommend like 1.5 things. So the first thing is a board game I played recently. It's called Vast. It's made by Letter Games, so the same people who make Root. If you've ever played Root, they specialize kind of in like asynchronous gameplay, where the game you're playing is different from the people who like you're sitting in between the games that they're playing.
That's pretty cool. Sometimes I
So,
do
like,
that
you
with
have-
people like on the bus.
Yeah, different character.
Where I'm
different
playing a
play
game on my
style.
phone, but they're playing a different game on their phone. It's like nice asynchronous play, you know? Some of them are
Exactly.
reading, some of them aren't playing the
Same-
game, and
same
we're
thing,
all
same
doing something.
It's exactly like that. So the premise is that it's basically like a dungeon crawler. Like some guy's the hero, he's a paladin, and then someone's controlling all the undead, and then there's a spider, and it's like a triangle. Like the paladin's trying to kill the spider, the skeleton's trying to kill the paladin, spider's trying to kill the skeleton. Anyway, so what's fun about the game is the mechanics are fun. There's a lot of replayability because you can play as different characters, and it's like a new game. You kind of have to learn a little bit of different, but if you play enough with other people, will like, oh, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. I think it's like a fun dungeon crawler. The art's really fun, and it is one of those games that you got to kind of commit to, where it's like, all right, we're gonna sit down for the next 1 to 2 hours and play like an intense game. But I really like it. It's called Vast. I think it runs like $60. Maybe you can find it for like cheaper on like eBay, or like go to your local game store and see if they're selling it. But I really like it. I think it's really, really good. But so that's Vast. And another thing I want to like rec, which this is like a weird thing to rec. So I'm into professional wrestling and mostly watch WWE. But I've been watching more AEW, which stands for
because
All
what's his
Elite
name is in it
Wrestling.
now, right?
And the CM Punk recently signed with the company, and like there's a lot of other like big signings that are rumored. And from what I understand, AEW has been really good with like good matches and good bookings, and the company actually cares versus Vince McMahon, who's really out of touch. And he's like, oh, I'll just bring back Brock Lesnar, and then all the fans will be going crazy. So I've been watching it, and I really like AEW. I think it has like more spread overall, like good talent. I still think WWE has like a lot of good top talent. Like I think Roman Reigns is just like probably one of the best wrestlers going right now. But I'm giving AEW a shot, and I really like it. It's on TNT Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 o'clock. There's a pay-per-view coming out this Sunday, All Out, which is going to have CM Punk and some other like rumored things that you could like search on the internet. But yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's just to see like just different wrestling and the way they format it, and they kind of seem to give a shit about the fans. So I don't know if they'll ever get bigger than WWE, because that seems kind of impossible, but they're definitely on their way to being super relevant and eating some of WWE's lunch. So yeah, AEW, check it out. It's definitely worth doing. So
I think the
those
question
are
that
my two
matters
recs.
is, how is AEW capitulating to Saudi Arabia in times of struggle? Will they also just completely give in?
AEW does in no way capitulate to really shitty countries who have
for
committed
America?
crimes.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, DJ. Dude, let's not guarantee that.
True.
All right, well,
AEW is a
least Saudi
Luxembourg
Arabia,
only
they don't
wrestling
capitulate
league or something. That sounds cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about AEW. A lot of my friends, or not friends, but well, it's like associates that I know on YouTube and stuff have been posting about it. So it seems like it's getting some steam.
It really is. I'd be curious to see how much of like WWE's market share it could take, because I do think Vince is like out of touch, just totally lost it, and he no longer knows what it takes to make a weekly show, because I think Raw and SmackDown are borderline unwatchable, and like only the pay-per-views are worth watching at this point. But AEW does a good weekly show, which I think matters.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fortunately, WWE is the only thing being ruined by old people unwilling to give up their power.
That is
True. Right.
That is true.
Whew. All right, Diggins, you got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I got a new book recently that just came out that I've been quite enjoying. It's called Hero of Two Worlds, the Marquis de Lafayette in the Age of Revolution. It is by other equally prominent to us podcaster, I would say, Mike Duncan. He did the history of Rome, and he's currently doing Revolutions. He's a very, very popular history podcaster. I think I've wrecked his stuff before. But yeah, he just came out with this new book about, it's a biography of the Marquis de Lafayette, who you may recognize from hit musical Hamilton. but it's about his entire life, not just his part in the American Revolution. So it's about his, childhood in France, his participating in the American Revolution, his participation in the French Revolution, and then his career after that, which included a little more work on some other French revolutions, actually. But if you weren't aware, the Marquis de Lafayette actually had a very eventful life, besides just coming to America when he was in his 20s. But yeah, no, it's a very accessible history, which is kind of a hallmark of his work, but also very comprehensive. It gives you a clear idea of the background information that's going on, the things you need to know to understand, like especially with the French Revolution, that becomes very important because things move very quickly and become very complicated. But it gives you that clear through line so that you can follow the arc of Lafayette's life, and it's just it's a very good read if you like history, particularly tumultuous revolutionary history as it pertains to the 18th and 19th centuries. It's a very good book, and I would heartily recommend it.
Cool. Nice. I want to recommend. I have a couple things to recommend because it has been a little while. A lot of comics. I've been reading a ton of comics recently, besides just that I usually do that. Like with weekly releases, I've been kind of going through some older stuff that I've always wanted to get my hands on or just given up on and being like, fine, I'll read it on, the DC or Marvel apps because it's just impossible to get a hold of. But new things, like there's a bunch of cool stuff. The one thing that I would kind of recommend or I think is interesting is a Marvel book called Dark Ages, excuse me. It's by Tom Taylor, who is crushing it right now with Nightwing and Son of Superman and all that stuff. And the pitch is it's some sort of natural global disaster thing. It's like an Elseworld. It's not like a what if book, but it's not in the main Marvel universe, but or at least it probably isn't. Some terrible disaster happens and it messes up everything. And it's all the heroes try to sort that out. So it's pretty fun. Hard to explain without giving too much away. I've also been reading 2 comic books about I don't know, questioning reality and existentialism and stuff that I've been meaning to for a while. The first one is Animal Man by Grant Morrison, which is one of the really well-known, wacky comic books of the 80s, I want to say. Animal Man is just some guy who has powers of an animal. He can sense animals around him and, duplicate their powers, kind of. And the story's about him kind of coming out of retirement and then also questioning the nature of his reality and finding out that he's maybe in a comic book or something. Very good book. Grant Morrison, they're great. It's a very fun older book. Newer one that I wanted to read for a while is Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. And Moon Knight, as people will find out soon, as it's for people that aren't familiar with the character, he's complicated. He's kind of like Batman if he was mainly themed around Egypt, and also he had multiple personalities. And he might work for a god, like an Egyptian god, or he might just imagine that. So the Jeff Lemire wrote one Moon Knight book from maybe 2016 where it was Moon Knight wakes up, or the guy, Mark Spector, wakes up just in an asylum, and he keeps having really strange kind of flashes to, outer space or a movie set that are kind of connected to what's going on. And it's very, out of all the comics I've ever read, that's is this a real story that's going on, or is this just in his head? This is one of the only ones where I've been this might end with this all just being in his head. That's interesting. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's only 10 issues, so that one was a really, really quick read. The Animal Man one I think was 20 or so. But okay, so the other thing I watched that I was really kind of not really psyched about, but so there's a YouTuber who I watch all their stuff usually. And channel's called Thought Slime. Yeah, right.
Nando
he's pretty
movies.
good. He's handsome and he has a good podcast. No, there's other things about me to like. I don't know why those are the only 2 I could come up with. He has a cool cat. No, but so Thought Slime, they got another channel where they talk about scary movies, and they did a review recently about a series of movies that I had no interest in seeing, but I watched the reviews and I was like, oh, maybe these are any good, these might be fun. And then I watched them. I'm 2 out of 3 in, and I could say with pretty solid certainty so far that I think the Fear Street movies are pretty fun. Have either of you guys watched them? Do you know what they are?
Negative.
No, but I'd heard about them.
So Dickens, right? Right.
They're kind of like the R.L. Stein.
Yeah, so
stuff,
it seems like he
right?
wrote a series of more adult-focused horror, like probably like mostly for teenagers or whatever. Horror like narratives about a town. There are two towns, but one of the towns, like they're next to each other, so it's like a Pawnee Eagleton situation. But one of the towns is known for having some sort of weird curse where every so often what appears to be a witch from the olden times possesses someone in the town to do an axe murder and like kill, 15 people on a killing spree out of nowhere. And that happens every like maybe 10 years in this town. So there's 3 movies in this series that they released all at the same time. So they're like one week after another, but it was like the first one came out. It was Fear Street 1994. So that one's kind of like Scream. And then they made another one that came out a week later. It was Fear Street 1977. And that one is like the ones with Friday the 13th, where it's like at a camp. And then they made one that came out the week after that called Fear Street 1666, and it's like the story of the witch and stuff. But it's like really fun, and it's a solid, like the beginning of it, the first one seems really dumb because it's like kind of like shitty Riverdale and like kids being shady to each other and stuff. But once it starts moving, I really like enjoyed these. They're not super scary or anything like that. They've got their moments of like, I wouldn't even say it's too jump scary though. It's a lot of moments of just like kind of dread where you're like someone's in the thing. But yeah, they're pretty good. I know. I was really surprised because I remember hearing about these on like Netflix and being like, that looks dumb. And no one told me like, yo, you got to watch these. But after I watched the Scaredy Cats review, which is what the channel is, I was like curious enough, and yeah, first 2. Solid. I got the next one on my plate, but after Shang-Chi, probably this weekend I'll check out the third one. So I can recommend all of those things. Yeah, lots of recs.
Nice.
So next week, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Anything to plug?
Ours is, we've been a little behind on Roses and Rejections. Bachelor in Paradise is on 2 days a week, so it's hard to make time to record, but we should have an episode coming out soon. We've definitely been, like, negligent, but, we'll have something, because we gotta cover all this, like, Bachelor in Paradise stuff, so, yeah, we'll have something. Check the Pop Break TV feed, and, hopefully something this week.
Cool.
Next week.
Diggins, anything from you?
Just my usuals. You can see my newsletter at substack.com/a-little-perspective, or I occasionally Twitch at twitch.tv, occasionally stream at twitch.tv/this-is-an-odd-name. XCOM and Disco Elysium are kind of the main things right now. So that's
You gonna
my
play
stuff.
Marvel v XCOM when it comes out? Like Marvel v Capcom? Yeah, it's got Wolverine in it.
Yeah, how else can I force everyone to watch me get all their favorite Marvel heroes brutally murdered?
It's got Blade. We all love Blade. It's got Magic, the best X-Men.
Wait, hold on. Am I gonna have to fight vampires? Because if not, what the hell is Blade
it's
doing
like
here?
monsters, right? Have you watched the trailer? Oh,
No, actually,
it's
I
like
just know the game
very
exists.
horror, like that side of Marvel. It's like all the guys you have to put in a Marvel game because of the law, where it's like Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine. I don't think Spider-Man's in it, but like Captain Marvel, whatever. And then it's all the Marvel, I don't even know what you call it. Like the game's called Midnight Sun, so it's kind of like that, although it's not as much of a brand, I would say, as like Justice League Dark is on DC side, but it's like that, where you got like Doctor Strange, Tina Maru, Blade, Magic, one or two other sorcerer type characters, and I think you're gonna
Everyone's favorite New Mutants
everybody's
character,
favorite.
Magic?
She's great. She's terrific when she's written well. And best part of that movie, except for all the weird racism, but I think I have a feeling they are probably fighting some vampires. I would say there's somebody else in there I'm forgetting, but I can't remember who. Oh yeah, there's Doctor Strange. There's no Moon Knight. There's Ghost Rider. Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider though. That's the other one. But yeah, so
yeah.
Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider.
Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, and do you remember
right.
who the bad guy was in that one? Or no, remember Idris Elba was in that as like the drunk monk who like Only in the second one, the one where George Bush is on screen for a couple seconds, and you're like, oh, that movie's awesome.
The one the three of us saw in a movie theater
awesome
together.
time in the movie theater.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Forgot we did that.
Yeah, I feel like it was one of those like the girls go see a real movie and the guys are gonna go see Ghost Rider, and that's
no. That was literally what happened. Your girlfriend saw The Secret World of Ariadne, I think.
That's
and we
right.
saw Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so we're going back to the theater, but maybe not the theater. But like I'm driving theaters to theater, and we're seeing Shang-Chi, so that'll be fun.
Can you pay $30 American dollars to see Shang-Chi?
Are you asking if I can pay it?
I'm not sure you can.
Oh no, they are not.
Are they making it available?
This is a quote unquote experiment.
Really?
Which Jeffrey Katzenberger? No, wait, not Jeffrey Katzenberg. Who's the actual guy in charge of like Disney? Bob. It's
Iger?
not. I don't think it's Bob Iger. I think it's another Bob, right? I want to say like the Bob. A Bob got replaced with a different Bob, but I'm pretty sure this guy came in and said Bob Chapek or Chapek said in an interview that like they were experimenting with this with Shang-Chi by not putting it on Disney Plus to see, if that would drive sales to the movie as opposed to if people would just... And like I think there's an argument to be had about piracy for sure, as like we probably lost some money on Black Widow due to piracy, but also there's lots of people in like Australia who are just like, well fuck, I guess I'm not seeing Shang-Chi this weekend. So yeah.
So
that's what people are saying. Although
basically.
I feel like they probably made that decision by now. They got like 2 months. They better know when Eternals is coming out. But I mean, I'm sure the narrative will be. We'll talk about it next week. But I'm sure it'll be like, oh, Shang-Chi underperforms. No, it didn't. That's because of the pandemic, or it might be because of racism, or maybe because of a million other things. And then we'll draw no conclusions. Or it'll overperform and everybody will love it, but we'll see.
I will say I have talked to people who are less I don't know, like MCU inclined, and they're like, wait, this is like part of like Iron Man, Captain America. I'm like, yeah, this is all in there, and but yeah, I don't know.
Once they see the Abomination, they'll know.
Some of the
they'll be like, this is an MCU movie if I've ever seen it. Yeah, I mean, once they see other characters maybe, but probably not too many show. I know 2 cameos besides Abomination, but I feel like they started making trailers recently that I've seen online, and they just start with like a full 30 seconds of Avengers, like in slow motion, just like Iron Man banging on suit and stuff, and then Captain America picking up the shield, and I think it kind of makes sense as a way to be like the 10 rings are a like dangerous artifact kind of thing, much like an Iron Man suit that can be wielded as a weapon. But I'm sure most of it is just, these guys, this is one of their friends, Shang-Chi. But yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure this is a big problem they're having in general with just not having not having people in just like in close proximity to each other, and most normal advertising methods are like kind of not like fizzled out, but it's like how many people watch TV, network TV, like are those ads getting through to people? And then there's no water cooler conversations at work. So it's like, how do you... Because I do think there's... And we'll definitely get at this next week. But I feel like when I was working at an office, not the one I used to work at, but the one before that, it was like a big office. And I feel like there would be a couple of people that would be like, hey, what's the new Marvel thing? And I'd kind of explain it to them. And I'd be like, his name is... Peter Quill, and he's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they go, oh, okay, that's a Marvel thing, great. And that's where they'd find out about it. And that doesn't exist anymore, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that stuff helps, and I think in-person talk shows and bullshit like carpool karaoke helps get that stuff on people's radar that they're not doing.
Oh man, you guys saw that flash mob, right?
James Corden went from cat to rat, baby. He's taken on all roles that are a filthy animal that hangs out in the trash. Yeah, that was weird. Anyway. Shang-Chi next week. Cool. Until then,
yes,
I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter. I'm not then.
Oh wait, one more thing.
Oh yeah,
the Eliminator pool. We are doing the Eliminator pool. You can find it if you search for Mostly Nitpicking in the public groups. I will retweet it from the Mostly Nitpicking account again. It's free to join. Basically, the premise is every week you pick a football team to not lose, and you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. And it's like last man or woman standing. If there's a tie, it's like point differential spread or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Last year, Alex won, and he picked Sky High because we bullied him or whatever.
Because we bullied him.
Yeah, it's a great time. So join if you can. And yeah, we've been doing it for like every year for like a few years now. So please consider joining. Like I said, it's free to do, and it's just like a fun little thing to play against the community. So yeah, check that out. By the time this drops, we'll like be a week away till football. Very excited. Very, very excited for football to start. You excited, Diggins? Excited for football?
Absolutely. I love when they kick the ball and then it flies to another part of the field and another man catches it.
That's part of it.
Mwah.
That
Diggins
is something that happens in
Dark Knight
football.
Rises.
Yeah.
He knows what happens in a football.
I love when the field collapses into like a sinkhole and then a Tom Hardy emerges and is like, I rule the city now, Batman.
He gets like a microphone. Someone hands him like a microphone. They're like, "Don't worry, this is hooked up to the entire football stadium. What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Personally, I love
all of Gotham will hear you.
I love in the football match when the future people show up on the middle of the field and tell us that they need
constant all of our precious past bodies to go throw themselves at the big spiky monsters. If only we had X-Blade, then we could kill the monsters. He could fight the aliens.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't stand a chance. Different football though, Diggins. You realize that, right? That was a different type of football.
All football is football.
Football's life, as they say on Ted Lasso. Wait, this reminded me of something. Hold on. Football, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, someone mentioned, speaking of Spider-Man, that we didn't really talk about Spider-Man. Speaking of Marvel, Spider-Man movie, right? We've done The Amazing Spider-Mans, but someone suggested maybe we do the other Spider-Man leading up to that. Yeah, that might be fun.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, we could just talk about how perfect they are.
Yeah, I mean, no, they are pretty good. I mean, they don't have... At no point does Russell Crowe go down on anybody in it, so it's not quite as good as this movie, but it's close.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Not the Russell Crowe thing, the Spider-Man thing. We might do that. Whoever tweeted that at me, I did see it. But until next... I feel like if we have time, we don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but I think the movie's studios will probably know if the Spider-Man movie's getting released. They'll be like, well, that's probably, we don't want to release our movie a week before that, and then no one goes to see it the next week because everybody's going to Spider-Man. So there'll probably be a little bit of cushion before that comes out. So yeah, hopefully we can we can do some sort of lead up. Looking back at those, I feel like there's a lot to like about them. There's probably also some bullshit. Definitely that last one. So it'll be fun. Can a man have the spider powers? That just doesn't seem right. Maybe we'll have to go and learn about his chi. Yeah. Anyway, next week, Shang-Chi. Speaking of chi. Until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at...
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Bye. We love you.